Good morning on this lovely Monday morning and welcome to Sewing Street. Well, I'm really excited today. Today is the launch of Yarn Lane. Well, I know that you've seen all the videos and the slides about it all over the weekend and we've been talking about it for a while, but it's our sister channel. And the great thing about it is that obviously, well, if you're like me, you love sewing, all different sorts, but there's loads of us who like a bit of yarn as well. So today is the launch, but not till 12 o'clock. So we're going to do all the normal Sewing Street, 8 till 12, as we always do. We've got Delphine coming today. She's got 2 hours with us. I'll tell you about the products later that she's doing. The embellishers back in stock, which I know you're going to be really excited about because when we had it on before, it sold out really quickly. So we've got it back. But at 12 o'clock, don't go anywhere like you normally do, we're going to have the launch of Yarn Lane. Now, I've been really involved with this. So obviously I come and present for you on Sewing Street and chat to you then on a Monday. But the rest of the time, I've been really involved with launching Yarn Lane. I've been speaking to knitters and crocheters and yarn manufacturers all over the place. So we're going to do, obviously, knitting and crochet, because that's part of the yarn thing, but other yarn crafts too, because I love latch hooking, I like needle punching, I like macrame. So we're going to introduce all of those things, and we're going to follow the same format as Sewing Street, because what's the important thing is that we teach you, and we inspire you, and we educate you, and we bring you the products that you want to see. So in celebration, I am wearing my crocheted cardigan, which I made myself. So at 12 o'clock, we've got brand new guest, Helen Ingram from Woolly Chic, who's going to be teaching us to crochet. I'll be talking about it for the rest of the morning and telling you a bit more about it, but I just wanted to mention that now. So in celebration of Yarn Lane, our early bird today is this gorgeous knitting bag. Now, it's really long. It's obviously, when you get it, it will be empty. I'm going to just take it out, but you can see you can get wadding, you can get yarn. It's a beautiful herringbone fabric. It's completely padded all over, so it will help protect all your items. Brand new today. We've never done this before. Now, it's got this special zip pocket across the front, which will fit up to like 35, 40 centimetre needles. I've got some of those in here. And the pocket, I like it, it's deep. It goes right down to the bottom seam, so you can get lots in it. It's got these padded sides as well, and it's fully lined. I'll just show you the inside. You look, isn't that nice how they've put the binding around the inside, so it's not just, you know, rubbishy made lining. It's actually made really well. It's got a nice zip at the front and handles. Now, obviously, you don't have to just use it for knitting. It's called a yarn bag, but you don't have to. You can fit in all your fat quarters. You can put your rulers in. Then you can put your wadding in. So one day when we're allowed back to workshops, be perfect for that. But also, it doesn't have to be used for that. Be really good for tools. Hammer, screwdrivers, wrench set. You could put your makeup in it, your hairdryer and your straighteners. Be really good. Sports, be great for a little pair of trainers, because it's very unisex, isn't it? Be perfect for, you know, any sort of use. Really strong handles because they're sewn on, you know, with the square with the cross in the middle. Got the loops here that you can hang some keys on. But we have never had this before, so this is why it's our early bird special. But isn't that lovely? Really nice, but perfect for you, for men, teenagers, whatever, but really useful. So to us today, it's $14.99, and we do have a price comparison here. On Amazon, it's $17.99. Now, this is produced by a company called Corbond, who are actually was a company set up in, I think 1957 by an Australian chemist who decided he wanted to produce tools, storage and accessories that were useful for people who actually want to use. So there's a great heritage behind this. They do lots and lots of storage and different tools for sewing and accessories. So that's why we selected this, because we know it's quality. And you get, and I do like, that's one of the things, well, you know, as a crafter, you know, it's things like having an extra deep pocket that goes all the way round is really useful. So we have chosen it specially. There's loads of knitting bags and yarn bags and stuff on the market, but we like this one. And look at this massive ball of yarn. I'm not going to show you all the details for this, but this is a fantastic yarn that we're going to be selling in a kit to show you how to make something really fun in a couple of weeks. So just remember that one. So the dimensions of this, it is height 14 16, oh, couldn't remember that, I thought I'd remembered. 16 centimetres high, which is 6¼ inches. Depth is 14 centimetres, that's that bit, 5½ inches, and the length is 44 centimetres, 17 inches. So obviously it is long enough, you can just about get your 40 centimetre needles in. But a lot of people use 30 centimetre needles, don't they? So that's perfect. You get loads in it, even this massive ball of yarn. Oh, look, I've got another one here. Don't you just love yarn? It's really lovely, isn't it? Oh. Wonder how many, if we did a survey, how many of you love yarn crafts as well? But just remember, with Yarn Lane, this is not just about people who can do it already. We're going to teach you. So if you've always wanted to learn about different yarn crafts, maybe you knit but you've never crocheted, maybe you crochet but you'd like to have a go at macrame, this is the channel for you. Well, and it's for me as well, to be honest, because I love crochet. Yeah, it is for me. But people always say to me, what craft do you like the most? Well, it's hard, isn't it? I like home sewn, probably embroidery, but in the evening, in front of the telly in a nice box set, I do love crochet. So that is your early bird. So if it's in your basket, you've obviously, oh, really popular today. Do check out, because we are on low stock numbers of what's in the baskets at the moment. So should we show the menu? What is happening today? Right, we've got, I'm getting repeat, 8 AM autumn fabrics. Got a lovely selection, yeah, a lovely selection of brilliant fabrics, threads, a bit. 9 o'clock, we've got Delphine coming in, and she's going to be doing Bella, Bobby and Betty Bunny, which she did a couple of weeks ago, but she's brought it back because we completely sold out and you loved it. So she's back by popular demand. 10 o'clock, we've got lots and lots of different tools and equipment that I'm going to show you how to use and why you want to use them, but really useful gadgets and tools that once I show you what they do, you'll realise why you need them. And obviously the special needle, the special machine that we've got back for you. The embellisher, the word just lost me. 11 o'clock, Delphine's back to show us a brand new range that we've got called the Rescued and Love. It features all different sorts of pets, from snakes, guinea pigs, dogs, cats, all sorts. You'll love that. And then at 12 o'clock, don't go anywhere, it's the launch of Yarn Lane. Anyway, let's do Sewing Street now. So what we've got for you, first of all, I love this bundle. Oh, let me just put that to one side. It's the cream bundle. You know how when you want some cream fabric or you want some off-white and you go into your fabric shop and you can only get one or maybe two, but you want to have a whole neutral palette. We have never had this bundle before. So we've got 5 half meters. Now I'm going to start at one end. You've got 1/2 metre of just our plain 100% cotton cream fabric. There we go. Lovely. It's a very pale cream. It's not your deep sort of yellowy buttery cream. It's more the ivory end of cream. So it's not yellowy. It's just like an ivory cream, I'd say, very pale. Then we've got 1/2 metre of this one, which has got a very similar background to the cream, but has a white sort of splashy print on top of it. That's a really bad description. But it's like a shadow print. So you've got the white slightly embossed on top of the cream. So the two of those go, so yes, you can see on the close-up, it's still repeating. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. It's lovely, isn't it? Then I'm going to show, this is the next shade, because I put these in shade order. This again, this is another plain, but this is well, no, it's not a plain. This is more of a mottled cream. It's a bit plainer than the other one. So it's various shades of cream. But this is a deeper, more of a buttermilk cream. Then we get this one. This is more, this neutral one is more of a sandy cream. No. And again, it's, yeah, it's like different colours. So you've got sort of a more of a goldy cream in this with a lighter cream that's splashed all across it. So it's a lovely, it's not even low volume, it's just your basic blender. Now you could use, let me show you the last one and then we'll talk about what we can use them for. So there's, this one is the darkest one, and that's got more of a very sort of pale beige with a darker beige on top. Now when you look at we've got it nice and close up here, it looks like, because it's so close, it looks like a real pattern, but it is an all over just wash of colour. So if I'm going to just pull these forward so you can see all the, now you could use these for different things. The good thing about them, I'm just going to pull them out so you can see them. They're really good to use just having your stash because it's always useful to have cream fabrics. I'm going to fold them up so you can see them all together. It's nice to have lots of cream fabrics to use in many things, but also they're very good for making other colours show up. So if you're making something with bright colours or plain colour, any colours really, the cream is a really good blender. But what I also love is when you make something just from creams. So you can make a whole quilt just from creams and it looks so classic and timeless and beautiful. And what we find is that it's quite hard to find this selection of creams all together, but because we've selected them for you so they go across the whole colourway. And this bundle you get 1/2 metre of all of these, but obviously, you know, if you want more because you want to make a whole quilt, have more than one bundle. But they are really lovely. They also look very good when you team them with small floral prints, Liberty style, you know, the little tiny prints. They work really well because they just make the print stand out. But, you know, it's always easy to get white fabrics or to get cream with a print, but to have these creams that are different shades. You see, now I put them all together. Whenever we do a neutral bundle, they're always really, really popular. So we thought, well, let's do a cream bundle for you. We've never done one of these before because you just all think about, oh, well, you know, we'll often put 1/2 metre of cream in for you, but we've taken all of the creams from our range and put them. So whichever ones you put together, if you use them for a whole quilt, you could take a quilt pattern that was using really brights all over and just translate it into cream. And it looks actually quite stunning. You know, you can then border it with something bright, but it gives it that, yes, it gives it that sort of timeless quality. But also, I mean, lots of other things you could use it for. You know, if you want to do embroidery, they look lovely on embroidery, and often we do embroidery on plain fabrics like calico. But if you did embroidery on, you know, maybe this one that's got that wash across it, then you think if you use bright threads, how that would really stand out. Now, we have got, these have been really popular, less than 30 available. So if you want one of these, I would put it in your checkout and put it in your basket. This is the first time we've ever had the bundle. But it's, I mean, we do the fabrics and we do keep them in stock. But the great thing is obviously, you know, you can see this probably better on TV than if you saw it in a catalogue or something. But you know that we've selected these ourselves so that we know that they go together. Lot of you have said, can you put them together? What goes, what works? But these creams all fit beautifully together. And it would make the most beautiful antique quilt. So find a pattern that's really bright and fun and just put them all in neutrals. They look amazing. But it's just a really good way of having, I always keep a stock of whites and creams and calicos because I do a lot of embroidery and I would use those for this. But it's not always easy, and you know, keeping our stash nice and full at the moment is clearly very, very important. So we've got a nice message. Oh, good morning. Love your crocheted cardigan. Oh, thank you very much. Hours. This makes me think of GWR, the railway. I crocheted a lot of this on the train because it's squares. Granny squares, and you can just do one every now and then. a close-up of my crochet jumper. It's lovely, isn't it? Anyway, remember, Yarn Lane's coming at 12. Right, so shall we talk about the thread that goes with this next? So this is a beautiful collection of Orophil thread. It's called the Calm Collection because it's calm. Now, what quite often when if you don't know Orophil is an Italian thread brand. It is fantastic quality. It's top quality Egyptian cotton. It's a very long staple, which makes it very, very strong. It's just the type of cotton it is. But what we normally do is we normally sell a 50 weight, which is the standard weight that you use in your sewing machine, that you use for seams or piecing or hems, dressmaking. A lot of quilters will use it because it's quite strong and comes in a beautiful array of colours. But that's your standard. But this is an 80 weight thread. Now, just remember that the higher the number, the thinner the thread. I have to keep saying to myself, higher the number, the thinner the thread. So the 50 weight is your normal that you put in the sewing machine. The 80 is a much finer thread. Now this is perfect. You can use this in your machine if you want a very subtle look. So say you're doing some quilting or some piecing and you really don't want the thread to show, you just want the effect. So if you're quilting round something and you don't want the colour to show up, but you just want the effect of quilting, 80 weight is perfect. But it's also ideal for hand sewing. So if you're doing English paper piecing or you're doing a bit of applique, it's perfect for that. Now, they go lovely on these fabrics. Now, what I love about them is the Orophil attention to detail. So there's 300 yards on each of these spools, but the spools are made from cherry wood. They're not wood effect plastic, they're actually cherry wood. So when you finish with them, just keep them, because they're so lovely, aren't they? What I would do is I'd get some fabric, maybe, because I always keep selvages off fabrics, love selvages, and I quite often sew them together and make things. You could wrap the selvages around these, and they make lovely decorations. You could just hang them all up, and that's the attention to detail. So in this Calm collection, you get a white, a cream, a pale grey, a darker grey, and this lovely neutral that's like a khaki. So that goes with, that will go with all sorts. If you're sewing with brights, say you're sewing a rainbow quilt and you don't know which colour to use, the khaki or the pale grey work really well. But it's really odd that quite often we use grey when we do English paper piecing, and the reason that is it doesn't stand out. It doesn't shout as much as white. It isn't going to stand out like red. It's not as harsh as black. So grey is a really good colour to use for that. But aren't they just lovely? So you get 5 reels in the pack and there's 300 yards, which I think, from memory, is 220 metres. It's just over 200 metres, I think, on each spool. But it is, I mean, Orophil have chosen it. It's one of their house collections. In this way, because this is the 80 weight, so it's finer. There's only 88 colours, not like the 50 range, which has got hundreds of colours. But it is very special. So if you are quilting and you don't want it to stand out, or for hand sewing, that's what I would use this for. You know, when you do your reverse applique or your needle turn applique or English paper piecing, or even if you just want to do a hem, if you're hemming a very fine fabric and you don't want it to show up, use a finer thread. People often think, oh, how do I make my hand hem not show up? Is it the stitches need to be smaller? Well, yes, but also it's to do with the weight of the thread. You know, that makes sense, doesn't it? If you use a narrower, finer thread, it won't show up as well. So it's a really good thread. I always have a few 80s. I have a big range of 50 weight because I use that all the time, but I do have a little bit of 80 and I have some 30 and 40 as well because I use that for top stitching. But it is nice to have, and I think if you haven't used 80 weight thread before, this is quite a good collection to start off with because it is the neutral colours. And because they're the ones that you're going to use. And they're a really good, they're just a really good starter as well if you want to try out Orophil thread. And once you've used Orophil thread, you will realise the difference in quality. I know sometimes people think, oh, are you just paying for the name? But with Orophil, you're not really. So I'm going to pack them back in this lovely little box. Because they all come, this isn't just for show, they all come in this lovely little box. So if you wanted to buy this as a gift, if you know somebody who's a sewer, or you need to tell somebody that what you want for Christmas, this is a perfect little gift. Nice and easy to wrap as well. So anyone who would like to buy someone they know a little present, $26.99, easy to wrap. Everybody would love to have this. Even me, Tib. But, you know, quite often people ask us about thread for English paper piecing. What should you use? Some people use a clear thread or a monofilament, all these different ones. But this is, I used to use different threads, but I save my Orophil now. I always use Orophil for English paper piecing. And I do use it for applique as well because it is stronger and it is finer. So that's the neutral collection. So if you fancy neutral, the bundle and the threads, they go all together. So I'll just put that to one side. So they're a really nice starting point for this show. So we're going to move on to the Woodland Collection. This we've had this on once before. We had a mega bundle with all of the colourways, but unfortunately we haven't got enough of that left. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this bundle. So this is $33.99 and there's a ½ metre of these five different fabrics. But I'll just show them like this. Look how well they go together. The background of the fabric is a browny grey. It's not chocolate and it's not slate. It's in between the two. So it's a really nice subtle colour. It goes beautifully with cream, as we can see. Look how nice that goes with cream because they're both soft and gentle. They're really lovely, gentle colours. The Calm collection is perfect, the thread to go with this. Actually, I'll just show you because that's quite important, isn't it? When you, oh, that's the one that I shouldn't be opening. This is the one. I don't want to open two. It ruins them. But, so look, this, if you want to buy this fabric bundle, I mean, look at those. They are just the colours within it, aren't they? Perfect. So if you wanted to use if you want to do any hand sewing with these. So let's have a look at the fabrics. Let's take my favourite one out first. I get to choose. Now these fabrics are produced by a company called Poppy's Cotton, which was put together by two friends who were both passionate about design, illustration, fabric and sewing. And they created their company Poppy's Cotton together. Now this collection is the Woodland Songbird. So in this one, look, if you look, let's get really close. You can see beautiful songbirds sat on really traditional, the red and white spotty toadstools. You've got ferns, little leaves. Isn't it really lovely? And you've got lots of, the background I said is grey and grey brown, but the colours featured in this are really pale sort of peaches and red, not red, but pale sort of pinky reds. This really soft sage green. I mean, it really is autumn colours, isn't it? But aren't they lovely? Now you could use this obviously as a fabric by the ½ metre. You could make patchwork, you could do dressmaking with it, but you could also use it for fussy cutting. You can cut out the little motifs. So if you pressed some Bonder web to the back of one of these motifs, like, I've got to go there, like that one there, then you could just cut round the edge of it, peel the paper backing off, and then you could press it onto something. Then you could applique it on because it's just the prettiest little motif using those Calm threads. So that's one of them. I'm not very good at folding fabrics. So we've only got the grey and the pink bundle. When we did it the first time, it was so popular. Now let's have a look at this one. Really like this. This is really pretty, isn't it? A collection of nature's treasures, which I guess they are, aren't they? So this one has got a sort of a pale slate background, and then it features all these lovely little, really pretty little circles, and each of the circles has got a blue, a pink and a like ochre mustard coloured toadstool in it and some leaves and flowers. So again, this is a lovely all over print that you can use for patchwork, but you could also cut out each of these motifs as circles and you could applique them onto other things because the motif is there for you. But you know, if you wanted to do if you maybe you were doing something as simple as just squares that were patchwork squares, you could applique one of these little circles in the centre of each because they are so pretty. And if you like embroidery, you could embroider over these little toadstools. They would look lovely. You could put little French knot dots on them and some stem stitch stems. Because I always think if you embroider on top of fabric, you haven't even got to think about the design because it's all there. And it always makes it stand out more. It makes the fabric behind it hang back and the embroidery stand out. So that's that one. Now we've only got single figures left of this bundle. So if you want it, you need to check out, because we've only had this on air once before and I'm not sure we're going to be able to get any more because, you know, I don't think we can. We bought, you know, a limited stock of it. This is one of the other fabrics. I mean, obviously it complements this one beautifully. So it's got exactly the same colours, sort of browny grey black background, and you've got a tiny sprig compared to the big sprig. Let me just show them together. So there's a really complementary fabric on that one. And then to complete the bundle, we have two just low volume. Oh, am I mixing them up now? Oh, no, I think they do. I'm started mixing them up now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, those are the two, sorry. Don't mix them up. So now the rest of the bundle, we have two low volume blenders. This has got exactly the same background colour as these prints here, which are your sort of browny grey prints, and then it's got like a trellis pattern on top. Then on this one, these like little dandelion clocks. So the background of it is a very pale grey with these sort of darker brown and little flecks of pink and yellow. So once this bundle is gone, it's gone. Haven't got enough stock to make any more of them, but they are lovely together. There's only 4 left. Only 4. We will be able to sell some of them by the ½ metre, but we haven't got enough stock. So if you look at those fabrics there, now say you bought the cream bundle. That's the beauty of when you buy plain fabrics or blenders like these where they're sort of shades of plain, that you can make your favourite fabrics go further. So if I put those together with that, you could see how you could use the prints as the main feature of whatever you were making, whether it was a full-size quilt or you were just making a bag or a cushion. But then these plain fabrics, these can be used for the sashing and the binding, or the main fabric, and you can use the other prints to applique on top of it. But by using the plains and the blenders, then it makes your designer fabrics go that little bit further. But what's lovely is that the colour range of these are very sort of neutral and warm and gentle, so they go together really well. So I'm going to show you the same fabric, but this is the pink bundle. So I'm going to move that over there so I don't get confused and mix them up again. So do we have the big print? Yes. So we have the big print. Now there are only 3 of this bundle, so when they're gone, they're gone. We will offer what we can by the ½ metre as well, but in order to have enough to put in the own bundle, we haven't got very many of them. So the background of this is a very pale peachy pink. Not like toilet paper peach, but a real pale, like do you know what I mean by, it's a technical term, toilet paper peach. But the background of this is like a very pale apricot-y peachy pink rather than a blue pink. It's more an orange pink. And then again, you've got the songbirds in teal and grey and using a really nice citrine green for the background. You've got exactly the same print. It's not exactly the same print, but you've got the same background as this. You can see how they go beautifully, but you've just got them on a smaller scale. So I think, to me, these look like cow parsley. They're probably not, but that kind of thing. I think they're cow parsley. You've got that sprig in the background, which is exactly the same as this, but on a smaller scale. Then we've got this lovely, the same as the other one, where you've got the circles. But this is a much deep, the colours are the same. I mean, in fact, the colour in the background of here is exactly the same as the toadstools in here, which is a sort of a deeper pinky peach colour. And again, you've got the circles with the toadstools. Then you've got the two blender fabrics. So this one has got the trellis background. So, and then this one has again got the pair. Now this one doesn't show up as well because this is very, very subtle. So we need to get in this one quite close. But it's got that pale pinky background that you can see on the other one. But the little dandelion clocks are white. So this is a very, very subtle fabric that just instead of using a plain pink, if you were putting these together to make a project, just gives it a little bit of sort of dimension to it. That's lovely, isn't it? I really like that one. It's quite unusual to have such a delicate fabric. So if I fold them up and put them all together, remember to be remember to be quick on checking out with this one because we haven't got very many. Now remember, if you haven't shopped with us before, there is only one P&P a day. It's £3.95. £3.95, and that's going to be exactly the same for Yarn Lane. And unless to avoid any confusion, if you buy something on Sewing Street and you buy something on Yarn Lane, because we're the same people, it will be the same. So you could buy one product on Sewing Street, 3 products on Yarn Lane, it will still be the one £3.95 because we are the same company. And once you've paid your £3.95, that's it. Up till midnight, that's all you've got to pay. So it doesn't matter what you buy, your £3.95 is just a one-off. And that includes Yarn Lane as well. So we've also got, we have got some of these fabrics by the half metre. Oh, right, so this one we have by the half metre. So if you only want this fabric, we've only got 5 metres left of this in total. Obviously, you only need to buy half a metre. If you want 5 metres, write 10 in your basket and then you've bought the lot. If you want 3 metres, write 6 in your basket because it's done in units of half metres. So this one here, you can buy, what does it say? Floral peach fabric, wooden song, yeah. In the Songbird way. So this one is available by the half metre. Also, oh look, this one is exactly the same. This is not in a bundle. This is only available as a half metre. But look, it's exactly the same as that one. Oh. There's only 3 metres of the blue one. Now, the background of this is a very pale tealy blue. It's not a really red blue. It is a greeny blue. But don't they look, the colour, the whole colour palette is the same. They look so lovely together. There isn't that one in that one. Oh, that's nice as well. They all go together really well. Oh, there's only one peach bundle remaining. So if you want the peach bundle, do check out. So this pale blue one with the tiny things, this is only available at a half metre, £6.99 for half a metre. And it will have gone by the end of the show. The toadstool one that I've shown you in the grey bundle and the pink bundle, this is available in the teal background, but it's a very pale blue, but more of a tealy blue. With this, they've called it blue, but the shade of it is more of a tealy blue, and it features all the same circular print with the little toadstools in between it. Aren't they pretty? This one has got the little dandelion clocks on. It's really pretty. This is a slightly darker shade than the other two, but it is the dark shade of this is the same as the dark shade of here. So it's like a dandelion clocks with tiny seed heads in mustard and pink on the background. Let me just move them over and then you can see them properly. But isn't it lovely? So you can see how tiny it is. They're like bigger than my finger. This is only available by the half metre. It's not in any of the bundles, but obviously the other tealy bluey fabrics are available by the half metre, so you can mix and match them if you want. Also, we have the one that's like a trellis effect. Now that has the same darker colour background that the one with the dandelion clocks. Yeah, so this one, it's called Bird's Nest, but actually when you look at it really closely, I thought it was like a trellis, but it's actually cathedral windows, isn't it? So you buy this, and if you do cathedral windows, use it in the cathedral window, to highlight. So it's the little feature print, and it'd be a cathedral window within a cathedral window. Within a cathedral window. So that'd be really lovely. Well, how lovely would that look? But that's crying out for some embroidery though. That's crying out for a French knot in each little bit of them. It's just it's just one of those fabrics. It's a really lovely, just standalone fabric. It's, you know, from a distance, it is a blender. It is, you know, it looks more like a sort of a textured plain. But when you get really close, it has got a lot of really lovely detail. So I'm going to pile all of those up. So if you want any of the blue ones, they are available by the ½ metre. So you can also buy by the ½ metre the big birds. If you've missed out on the peach bundle, then this one here is available by the ½ metre. This is a real star fabric, isn't it? It's just when you get really close and you look at it, you can see like the little songbirds sitting on top of the toadstools, and then you've got the lovely cow. I think it's cow parsley. Now this isn't multi-directional. Do remember that, which is quite important, because I always like to know when I'm buying fabric, because I might have an idea of what I'm going to do with it. Is it multi-directional or not? Because that does change how much you need and how you cut it, and this isn't. So although you've got your cow parsley upside down here and there, the birds are all exactly the right way up. So do remember that when you're buying it and when you're cutting it, that the print does run way. So that one is available at £6.99 by the ½ metre. Right, so if you, in the grey bundle, I don't know why they call it grey because it's a browny grey. Think of it, it's not grey, it is a browny grey. This one is also available by the ½ metre. So, yeah, the large blue, we did have this one with the blue background, but that's sold out. But this one with the dark grey brown background and this one are both available by the ½ metre, and look how lovely they look together. Even if you just bought those, but aren't they a lovely colour mix? They're subtle, so it's not chocolate brown, it's a subtle grey brown. It's not bright peach toilet paper pink, it's a really subtle apricot, pale pink. But they really go together well. And isn't it interesting how the birds stand out differently on them? So when you look at this peachy one, your eye is drawn to the birds. They stand out more. But on this one, your eye is drawn to the grey birds on here. But on the chocolatey brown one, your eye is drawn to the teal birds and the toadstools. It's really exactly the same print, but it's different. But look how well they blend together. So lots and lots of things you could do with those. And remember, if you want more than a ½ metre, all our fabric is cut to order. So if you want 2 metres, we will send it to you as a 2 metre piece. We won't send you 4 ½ metres pieces. You know, that's really special. Not everyone does that. And it's important that, you know, as sewers, that's what we want, don't we? Sometimes we want ½ metres and we want flat quarters, but if we order 3 metres, I know if I buy fabric, and I will say that is going to be in one complete piece, isn't it? Because I just have, or somebody will say, well, we're out of stock of that, and I can send you a 2 metre piece and a 3 metre piece. You think, well, that's no use, because I actually need 5 metres. So when we sell you the fabric, if it is available by the ½ metre, what that means is we can cut it for you to the length that you need. Right, we've got a lovely book here, Tilde Quilts from the Tilde Studio. Now, although these aren't Tilde fabrics, obviously, they are a very similar sort of fabric that are used in the Tilde Quilts. Now, I've got on the floor, one moment, I've got on the shelf, not on the floor, on the shelf below me, one of the quilts in this. So you can see it. Now, this gives you an idea. How beautiful is that? So that is one of the quilts that's in the Tilde Studio book. Should we find the page? Oh, I was going to say, should we find the page? I should have actually written down that number. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. So it's called the Plum Quilt. So there's the quilt. Actually, I think I might have it upside down, maybe. But wouldn't the Woodland Songbird work really well for this? And because this has got the cream background, if you bought the cream pack, the 5.5 metre pack that we've got, with the Woodland Songbird, this would look beautiful in any of the quilts in this book. So there are 20 quilts. I love that one. It's just rows and rows of little houses. And I think, which one? There's another one I've got down here. Oh, this is the cats. Oh, isn't that lovely? So these are the original ones from the book, because when we did this show a while ago, we borrowed them. So these are the originals. So let's see if we can find the cats, and then you can see. It's a beautiful design, isn't it? But the fabrics that she uses with these tiny prints would work well with lots of other things. I mean, you could even do them in plains. But you know, I was saying earlier, oh, here, let me show you. There's the cats. There's the cats against the cats. And that's that project there called Cat and Bird Quilt, because it's got cats and birds. But you remember I was saying to you earlier how you can translate any quilt design but just using the cream palette. So say you wanted to do a beautiful quilt like this 4-block quilt. Let me move the pillow out of the way a minute. Like this 4-block quilt, which features beautiful colours and would look really lovely with the Woodland Songbird collection. But if you did all of this in different shades of cream, it would have that amazing whole cloth quilt effect. And you know, with whole cloth quilts, it's just one piece of fabric, no joining, no patchwork, no piecing, and you quilt it. And that's all you do. So you mark the design. So the technique and the beauty is in the quilting, because there's no piecing. But if you used all the different creams and piece them like this, you would get that effect of different shades and shadows, and it gives it that really vintage feel. If I did that, I would probably bind it with something though, because it looks really pretty. And this quilt, this is something I like doing. I'm going to show you this because this is another thing you can do. See how this quilt is bound with joined binding. Quite often when I'm not sure what to bind my quilt with, is I take a little bit of all the fabrics that have been used in the quilt and I join them together. And can you see up here, it goes there and then it goes into that colour. And then if I move up to here, it moves into another one. So if you were doing something with just a plain quilt, you could do that. It uses up all your pieces as well. That if you save all your little bits, you just need strips, join them together before you bind it. But also if you, maybe you bought the grey large songbird and the pinky songbird, they would make a beautiful scrappy binding together to go all the way around the edge of something. So when you've got things like this, if you've just bought 1/2 metre, you're even not sure what to do with it, but you just like it, because I think we all buy fabrics that we just like and aren't sure what to do with them. Things like binding. So if you made a very plain quilt, that's beautiful. And then what would happen, because it's got tiny elements on it, here and there along the binding, one of them would jump out. You don't even need to think about it. You'd see a little beak here and there. So this book, anyway, it's got 20 different quilts in it. But don't feel this is a Tilde book. You don't have to use Tilde. You could use all sorts of fabric, anything from super bright mad cave fabrics to really, you know, tiny Tilde or Liberty prints, or you could just use plains. There's some very simple quilts in here. This one is just stripes, and what it's doing, it's the quilting that's speaking rather than the stripes, but it's so effective, isn't it? I love this one. This is Angels. Is it called? I wonder if it's called an angel, plum party quilt. And look at it's angels and cakes. Perfect for a little girl's bedroom. Well, anyone's bedroom or a big girl's bedroom. Or if you wanted to make a quilt for someone's birthday, it's got a lovely big cake in it. Yes, it would lovely in my bedroom. Actually, my bed has got a very big patchwork quilt on it. But I have to say, I didn't make it. No. Didn't make it, it was a present. But it is beautiful. It's a double wedding ring quilt. In fact, my sister gave it to me for our wedding. But it's all in pinks and blues. And in the summer, I take it off because it's too hot. But I put it back on a couple of weeks ago. And it's so lovely. Makes the whole bedroom look really vintage, and I just don't ever want to get out of bed though. That's the problem. You should always make your bed really uncomfortable when you have to get out. But it is lovely. But I would love one of these Tilde ones. But the cats and birds, that's so lovely, isn't it? But you know, with this book, you don't have to make a quilt. Obviously, you can just use the blocks. You can make other things with them. I love the floor 4-block pillow, and again, they've made a quilt, but they've also, can you see, yeah, down the bottom here, there's a really lovely floor cushion. And that's just 4 of the blocks. Nice big size cushion though. But there's a lot of value. So how much, gosh. So this is $14.99 and you get 20 quilt designs. Now I have worked from these books before. The instructions are really good. They make a lot of sense. It's really lovely that they put all of the colours of fabric. So if you're using your own fabric, what I would do is, if you don't want to write in there, just get a piece of paper, or you could just photocopy it and write on all of these swatches which the colour you've used. I mean, they're numbered. And the best thing to do is say, because look, there's 28 different fabrics in here. Number your fabrics. It makes it so much easier when you're going along, because all the colours then are all used and you can see them in all the diagrams. So they are very good books. I mean, Tilde has got a wonderful heritage and history and reputation. But yeah, I mean, I know it's Tilde, but it doesn't have to be. Can you imagine these in cave fabrics, or these little birdhouse, or the Anna Maria Horner fabrics, those really bright, bold fabrics. Japanese fabrics, you know, the ones with the lovely gold metallic prints on them. They would look lovely in any of these. So it's the quilt designs that you're buying here. Now, I love this one. This is the Teapot and Coffee Pot quilt. Let me find a picture of the actual finished quilt. Isn't that lovely? It's really fun. So you've got spotty ones. It's called the vintage, well, actually they're not coffee pots because it's called the vintage teapot quilt. I think these look a bit like coffee pots, but they're vintage. But you could have this hanging in the kitchen or in the dining room as a wall hanging, but equally you could use it to cover the table, couldn't you? I wouldn't eat off it, but it'd be nice to cover it. But say you wanted a table runner just down the centre of your table, be perfect for Christmas, wouldn't it? You could make a table runner with just 2 of these to that length and use Christmas fabrics, Christmas teapots. I mean, that's just, you know, we always have like the table runners at Christmas have got like holly or puddings, but wouldn't it be great to have I'm quite tempted. I've got quite a lot of Christmas fabrics in my stash actually, but if you haven't, there are a lot on our website. It could be the Christmas teapot table runner. Like that. It's really lovely, isn't it? I did think they were coffee pots, but you can't really see. If I was going to do this, I'd want the spouts a little bit darker so I could see them. But it would be a really fun table runner, or you could just make it. You don't make it all year round. Wouldn't it look lovely in blue and white, like that kind of Delft blue china effect? Or just tiny, tiny little prints for a really sort of vintage feel. And there's not lots and lots of quilting on this. They've done some sort of feature quilting on the teapots, but it doesn't look incredibly complicated. This is definitely one book for your library. You can use the blocks to create for other things. You can use them for cushions and table runners and bags. I would, you know, a tote bag, a teapot tote bag. Be brilliant, wouldn't it? Just use one of those blocks, and then you can just use a few small fabrics from your stash. If you've bought any of the Woodland Songbird, use some of those in a teapot, make a tote bag, bit of the cream fabric from the cream bundle in the background. This is lovely. I like the way these are made as well. This isn't foundation paper piecing, in case you wonder, because there are a lot of different pieces. This is proper traditional piecing. You cut out each one of these to the size, so there's no paper piecing involved. It is proper traditional. There are templates that you need. They are all in the back. Look at that, and they're full size. And what I like about them, because obviously you don't want to cut your page out, you want to sort of photocopy it. It does have a nice square for your scale, just in case you've managed to photocopy it to the wrong. It does have this must be 1 inch to be full scale, which is really important, isn't it? Because sometimes, I don't know what, you know, you're photocopying something and it comes out at 97%. You think, how did that happen? So there is a template to check that, but all of the pieces are full size, which makes a difference. See, all of the patterns are given full size. So, the Ultimate Cream Bundle, should we have another little look, is brand new today, and third of the stock has already gone. Third of the stock has already gone. I'm going to put it on here because it looks so lovely on here, doesn't it? So remember, in the Ultimate Cream Bundle, you've got your plain cream, you've got your more yellowy cream with the white splash on, you've got a buttermilk cream that's got all different colours on it. It's like a blend. Then you've got this that's a very pale beige with a darker beige on top, but still cream. I'm just trying to describe how many words are there to explain cream. And this is a more goldy cream with a more golden bundle. But when I put these together with like any small print, I mean like this Tilde print, they just look so subtle, don't they? Often we think, well, shall I use white or I'll just use a plain cream? But you put all these together. Can you imagine this quilt here made in these creams? It would look really stunning, wouldn't it? Because round the edge of here, and this is one of the quilts in the book, you've got rectangles of all these different fabrics. You imagine if they were rectangles of all the creams. You don't have to actually put much thought into it then, do you? They just go together, they work, and you'll look at it and think, oh, that looks really tasteful. How did I manage that? But I'm so good. But it would just look really subtle. And if you've got some little scraps of fabric, if you've got some little pieces that you really want to stand out, they will stand out amongst here. Anyway, it's just very, very, very multi-use. So I will take my Tilde quilt away, but I do love it. I'll put that back on my shelf on the floor. Oh, I've got a slide from a customer who's asked me a question about the Orophil thread. So what does she say? Thank you for including Orophil threads in your stock. I use them in both hand and machine patchwork, but I think you're missing an opportunity. Okay. With their long staple and consequent strength, particularly in finer weights 58, they're ideal for bobbin lace making. Well, I didn't know that. I have done bobbin lace many, many years ago, and I really, really wasn't very good at it. So I didn't persist, but it is something that I am looking into including in Yarn Lane. So thank you for the suggestion, because although it's not yarn, it's not really sewing, so I think it sort of belongs in that as well. So since I know a number of lace makers who also do patchwork, I think a mention of lace making for using this thread. Well, thank you very much. That's a brilliant thing, because I wouldn't have known that. So should we just have another quick look? These beautiful cherry wood, I don't like them on that background. I'm just going to choose a new background. I don't like them on there. This is so far the most popular selling item of the day. So remember, these are 80 weight. The bobbins are made from cherry wood, so you can keep them afterwards. They're not wood effect plastic. You've got there's 300 yards, which I think is 227 metres. The top of my head, I think that's what is yards. Yeah, 274 metres. Yeah, well, it isn't right. It isn't 200 metres. It's 300 yards, which is 270 metres. So 80 weight thread, which is finer than your normal 50 that you normally use in your sewing machine. So brilliant for patchwork, quilting, lace making. Brilliant for lace making. Really good for hand hemming if you don't want your stitches to show up. This basic palette are in the wrong order: white, cream, pale grey, dark grey, and your khaki green, which is a khaki grey. It's one of those colours that's really hard to describe, but sort of just goes with everything, because it's not dark, it's not light, it's not bright, it's not white. It's just sort of goes with everything. Goes really well with this. So really good bundle. If you haven't tried Orophil, or you haven't tried an 80 weight, do buy this, because it does make a really nice pack. And also remember that it makes a really nice gift, because look at that. Look at that, in a nice box. Calm Collection, $26.99. Anyone who sews would love this. And added feature, it's really easy to wrap, because it's in a box. You know, these things are important. Have you ever tried wrapping a football? Or garden shears? Nightmare. Have you ever tried wrapping garden shears? See? Whereas this box, easy to wrap. And these things are important, aren't they? So I'll just put this. So let's think about, oh God, we haven't got long. Right, we've only got 5 minutes left. So let me have a quick chat about hot chocolate. So we have 2 fabrics left in the Lewis and Iron hot chocolate. The pink one, it features gingerbread men. It features gingerbread men, mugs of hot chocolate with whipped cream and a cinnamon stick inside. And what's more, it smells of chocolate, which is the weirdest thing. And actually, when you press it, it really smells of chocolate. So that when you're using it or wearing it or carrying it or pressing it, it will smell of chocolate. And there's even steam coming out of here and chocolate sprinkles. And it's got cinnamon sticks and little hearts. So this is the pink one. We also have it by the half metre in a slightly different, like they call it plum. Yes, I would say it's like a mauvey brown colour. So it's it's plum, but it's more of a mauvey brown. And again, it's exactly the same mugs of hot chocolate with steam, and it does smell. It smells of milk chocolate. That's what it smells of. It doesn't smell of plain chocolate. It's definitely that creamy milk chocolate smell with lovely mugs with cinnamon sticks and sprinkles. Anyway, we've not very much of this left in stock. So if you want this by the half metre, just a bit of fun and quite unusual that it smells. Perfect for Christmas makes. You could make your table mats with it, couldn't you? And then when everyone put their Christmas dinner on it, it'd be really hot. So we have got, let me just get them off the shelf. Delphine was in, not last week, but the week before, with her rabbits, and they sold out. So we've brought them back, and Delphine as well. Can't have her rabbits without her, can we? We are putting these onto pre-order. Oh, look. So this is Bobby. This one is Bobby. And this one is Bella. And Bobby loves Bella very much. So pre-order means that it's now available on the website. Hello. And hello. So you can check out, which is the great thing about pre-order, is that you can go on the website, check out, and then you can just sit back, enjoy Delphine's show. She's going to show you how to make these, and you don't have to worry about, am I going to run out? So if you have a look at this, if you haven't been visited us for a while, we have got a new website. It's amazing. It's really lovely. So type in www.sewingstreet.com. And this is where you'll get to. You can click on watch live. So if you want to watch us live rather than watching us on Freeview or Sky, you can watch us on the website. When you scroll down, which Hannah's doing, slow enough so we can read it, everything that we've shown already is there. So you can see the hot chocolate fabrics, the Tilde Quilt book, the show deal. So there's right at the top, you can see that Orophil collection. And if you keep scrolling down, keep scrolling. That's everything we've shown, so you can see it. So you don't have to sort of, when you see something on screen, don't think, oh, I've got to write that code down, or I'm going to forget. You can just pop on to the website and you'll see it. For pre-order, see that bit there that says pre-order? Everything we're going to be showing later on, but we haven't got to, is on there. So there's, can you see them? Can you see them? There's the 3 there. Bobby, Bertie, and Bella. I haven't got Bertie. Maybe Delphine's got Bertie. Obviously, we've got Delphine coming on in a few minutes. We'll talk a bit more about them. But just warn you, we did sell out when she was on just over a week ago. So if you buy them now, buy me now, then you can just sit back and relax and watch Delphine's show. But we don't want you to miss again. So Delphine's coming up in a couple of minutes when she's going to be showing us all about her bunnies. So go make yourself a cup of tea and come back 2 or 3 minutes and welcome Delphine, and she can teach us how to make bunnies. I'll see you in a minute.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
We are so excited for the launch of Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn. We'll be bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as all the latest tools and gadgets. Watch our launch show on Monday the 2nd of November at 12 p.m. on Freeview Channel 74, Sky Channel 670 or our YouTube channel, when Helen from Woolly Chic will be teaching you how to crochet. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Yarn Lane TV and subscribe to our email newsletter to keep up to date with what's coming up.
Hello, my name's Fiona Hesford and I'm founder of Sew Girl. I'm based down in Worthing on the south coast of England, and I've got a range of sewing patterns which I've developed over the last few years, which are projects for loose fitting clothing, everyday simple garments, things that I really love to wear myself. And I'm going to be bringing you them to Sewing Street over the next few months. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.
Hi, I'm Helen from Woolly Chic. I design knitting and crochet patterns and I also teach crochet in Hitchin, Hertfordshire, where I live. My mum taught me to knit and crochet when I was a teenager, but it wasn't until my children were little that I picked up a crochet hook again and literally became hooked, and I haven't stopped crocheting and now knitting ever since. I began designing about 8 years ago and started selling my patterns as part of kits, putting together my designs with British wool, some of which comes from my family's sheep farmed in Pembrokeshire, Wales. I love the fact that with a simple fibre like wool, you can create something really beautiful and unique. Like garments or handmade accessories, cushions, blankets. Yeah, the possibilities are limitless. I'm also passionate about teaching crochet and passing on the skills that I have learnt. I'm really looking forward to being part of Yarn Lane TV and sharing some tips and tricks with you, and I really hope that you enjoy watching.
Hello everyone, I'm Darphine Brooks. It's so great to be here and part of the Sewing Street family. I'm local, I'm only down the road in Warwickshire. I started sewing many years ago when I was very young, doing lots of art and painting, and eventually I went into textiles and I really enjoyed doing the two together. I then had a bit of a break. Something you don't know about me maybe is that I spent many years in the Royal Air Force and eventually in the police as well. And then I went full circle and I've come back to my happy place of sewing, and which I really enjoy. My best sewing tip is measure twice and cut once. I have chipped up a couple of times by not measuring properly, and I do always regret it. So now I always measure twice, cut once. Anyway, I really hope to be with you again soon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello everyone, I'm Darphine Brooks. It's so great to be here and part of the Sewing Street family. I'm local, I'm only down the road in Warwickshire. I started sewing many years ago when I was very young, doing lots of art and painting, and eventually I went into textiles, and I really enjoyed doing the two together. I then had a bit of a break. Something you don't know about me maybe is that I spent many years in the Royal Air Force and eventually in the police as well. And then I went full circle and I've come back to my happy place of sewing, and which I really enjoy. My best sewing tip is measure twice and cut once. I have chipped up a couple of times by not measuring properly, and I do always regret it, so now I always measure twice, cut once. Anyway, I really hope to be with you again soon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Welcome back to Sewing Street. Oh, I am really excited because I get A, to work with Delphine again, who I worked with on my second show ever, and B, I get to do bunnies. So when Delphine did the bunnies week before last, they were so popular they sold out. So we've brought them back to you. Now these are 100% exclusive to us. All the pieces that you need to make them come on a printed panel, and that's in the kit. And the kit also includes full instructions written by Delphine and a bag of stuffing. So they're either available in 3 different colourways or people. They've all got names: Bella, Bobby and Betty. Now, just to make you aware, these have been so popular, we have been able to get them back, but there is going to be a slight delay on the kits being sent out to you because of getting hold of the printed panels. So you won't be sent them immediately, but there's only a slight delay. We're doing what we can to fix it and get it sorted out. We will let you know, but just so you're aware that when you check it, put it into your basket today and check out, there is a very slight delay. Not massive, but slight. Okay, so let's start with Bella. Bella is pink. She's got a beautiful floral printed head, a pink nose and a pink body and tummy, and she's got pink on the outside of her ears, and she's got pretty floral shoes as well, little boots. So this is what your panel will look like, which is just going to come up, and so can you see that now? Yes, there you go. So you'll see it's got the legs and the feet all attached, and there's the hands or arms, and there's the ears and all the different pieces, and there's a little label so you can name the back of your bunny. So if you're going to give it to someone, you could write their name on it, or you could just write your own name on it. So the bunny that I've got with me today that's the size it will make. So for £24.99 you will get the panel to make the bunny, you'll get the instructions. You just have to do it, and then you get the wadding. They just move, don't they? Da, da, da. And so you get the wadding to go into the bunny. Okay, so that's Bella. I'm going to put Bella there. The most popular at the moment is Bella. Right, we're going to do Bobby next because I've got Bobby. So Bobby is Bella's friend. Might be Bella's boyfriend, or it might be Bella's brother. You can choose. So Bobby has got a blue body. He's got a blue print head with little hearts and flowers. He's got yellow shoes. This is what your panel, when you get it, will look like. So you can see exactly the same. It's got the blue ears and the head, and he's got a yellow nose, and he's got a blue tail. There is a choice of nose colour. Look, if you look on the panel, there's a yellow, a blue and a black nose, so you can choose. But they're amazing value because everything that you need is on there. It's not like you'd get a pattern with templates and you'd have to have extra fabric so that you could cut round them. All those pieces are on there. There's no templates, there's no thinking. You just cut round, the seam allowance is included. You follow the instructions. So in the Bobby one, you get the panel to make Bobby. You get the full instructions, which is here. These are written by Delphine. Look, Bella and friends. And look, there's all the instructions, and these are nice instructions, nice and glossy, good quality instructions, stapled and everything. All the pieces that you need, all the walkthrough photos. So if there's any bit when you read the words you don't understand, you think, oh look, that's exactly how you do it. all the way through to the end. Lots of tips and ideas and techniques of how to do it, even how to embroider the eyes on, because these are super safe for children. There's no small little bits, it's just all embroidery. And even the 2 stitch guides you need on the back. So there we go. That's Bobby Bunny. And then the last one that Delphine's got, this one is called Betty Bunny. And Betty Bunny, and that's the colourway of Betty, is green. So you'll see Betty in a minute, but Delphine's got her. She's got green ears and a green body and a sort of a yellow and green print head and waving arms, because Delphine's waving her arms as well, and grey print legs. So you can choose between Bella being pink, Bobby being blue and Betty being green. And on all the kits, obviously, you get the full printed panel, you get the full instructions and a bag of the super soft toy filling. Just remember, there will be a small delay on the panels. Just wanted you to let you know, we're not talking like weeks and weeks and weeks. There will be a small delay, but they are exclusive to us. So obviously, we have to get them printed and sourced, and there is a slight delay at the moment. Anyway, when we had Delphine on the week before last, she went through the whole bunny, but she was saying to me she didn't get the time to finish the end of it properly. So she's going to run through the trickier bits of the beginning so that it will really help when you come to watch it. So after you've popped one in your basket, if I was you, I'd do it now and then you can just relax and concentrate. Remember that the previous show is on YouTube and this one will be on YouTube. So when you receive your kit, you can watch it back to give you a few ideas. So enough about me. Welcome, Delphine.
Hello.
So nice to have the bunnies. You just feel like you want to wave their hands all the time, don't you?
You make me laugh. I was watching you in the green room and you were just making them wave.
I know, but they do, don't they? They sort of, they
You
point.
holding him like a little baby.
I know, they're lovely, aren't they? They just sit on the desk. I sit like this with my dog sometimes.
They look
They
ever
look-
so happy on the shelf when I watch the show. Sometimes they're on the set.
Yeah, they are. They're very happy.
Look so-
I'd want all 3 of them though,
Well, you should get all 3 of them.
because they are friends,
They
aren't
are. They are all friends. Yeah. Have you got a favourite?
they? Yeah. So, if you've never made soft
Yeah.
toys before, how would this be?
Easy, absolutely easy. I mean, I have sewn a lot of toys, which is why I've designed it in a certain way, so it is achievable for everybody to make it. So, like you said, you don't have to think about it. You haven't got to draw out templates. You just cut it out, seam allowance, and everything included. There's little marks on where to stop and start sewing, and the instructions. I'm a visual learner, so I like to learn from lots of pictures.
Right.
So I do.
Yeah.
Bombard you with a lot of photographs, but I find that a lot easier. So, but yeah, it's very easy. I've put confident beginner on the instructions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can all be a confident beginner.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think with that sort of thing, as long as you say, just take your time, read it through, have a think. If you haven't done a lot of machine sewing before, have a little practice before you start.
Yeah,
Then
but
you can just go on.
even with some of the seams, even if you go a bit wonky, because you put filling it with toy stuff in, it doesn't really.
It sort of irons
You can
out.
hide it,
You
yeah.
can hide it.
Yeah.
So where do we start then?
So I'm going to just put Betty over there. Is she going to behave? There we are. Good girl. Stay there.
Just sit still.
Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because obviously I'm not going to show you just how to cut out shapes.
Yeah.
You can,
So you cut out all the shapes
You
in the
cut out
panel.
all the shapes on the pattern. Yeah. 2 little things that I just want to go through with you though. The 2 side head pieces and the forehead piece. Now it's quite faint on here, but there is on the panel, you'll see 2 tiny marks here and one at the bottom here. This is the forehead piece. So what you need to do for those, because you need to cut out these little darts. This one just makes it easier to sew, and this one, by putting the darts in these pieces, it just makes the face a little bit fuller.
Yes. Yeah, I can see. Yes. Yeah.
So
So you
all
can
you
see the darts at the bottom.
So all you do with that is you fold those pieces in half. So if you can't see it, because it's quite light, and all you do is a tiny little nip there, open it out, and you'll do that on both pieces. So just fold in half, those 2 pieces meet, and make sure I'm cutting the right part.
So you put the 2 sort of bottom flat edges.
Yes, and then there we are. And then obviously on the forehead piece, it's already there for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that as well. So those are the only extra pieces, things you need to cut when you cut out your pieces. There we are. So we've got all our pieces here ready to go. So with both I'll just put those over there a second. So with your arms and the legs, what you'll do with those is that you'll sew them right sides together and turn them the right way out. Now you will have 2 little gaps. So you will sew, on the panel, you'll have 2 little marks here and here. So obviously you can't see them now because I've sewn it up. But so there will be 2 tiny little black marks. That is because you need to leave those bits open. So you have those on the backs of the legs. So the back bits are open and so are the top. It's all in the instructions though, but again, make sure you read through all the instructions before you start. So you'll do that again with the arms. So the arms are here. So again, you sew all the way around and you just leave those little gaps here and here open. So once you've done all those, just put those to one side because you don't need those yet. The ears. So as you can see on the panel, when you get yours, you have got an inner ear and an outer ear. So you can choose whether to have the blue on the inside or on the outside. So you don't have to do it the way I've done it. You can choose to have the blue on the outside and then the white on the inside. So you
or swap them round.
They'll swap them round, yeah.
You can have one blue ear and one cream ear.
And so all you do with the ears, again, you do them right sides together. And the only bit you leave open is this little gap here. Now, trust me when I say they will turn out, but you need to be patient and make sure every single time you start sewing, always backstitch and secure it, because when you turn it around, you'll lose all the stitches will come loose. Okay. So make sure you, even a couple of times, just so it's really secure, and be patient. It will turn out. It just gets to that point and it just sort of just goes. Yes, but just be patient with that. So with these ones, I have used a tiny little bit of wadding inside. You don't have to. It's just if you want to make them stand out a little bit more, but you don't have to. But again, all in the instructions. So once you've done all of those bits, I'm going to put those to one side.
So on the graphics is the one that Delphine is currently working with, which is Bobby.
Yep.
That's the dark blue. That's the one that's currently on the screen, just in case you wondered.
Okay, so to start with, I'm going to get my 2 face pieces. I've already cut out my notches, and I'm just going to sew right sides together from the point of the nose down towards the neck. So that's the first seam that you sew. Oh, my knees. Oh. I hurt my knee playing netball. Serves me right playing netball.
I'm very impressed. What position were you?
Well, it was a mixture of everything, but they put me on centre.
Ooh. Oh, that's the hardest one. A lot of running on centre.
I've clocked up a lot of steps doing centre after 10 minutes.
I always used to be goal attack. I like that.
I like defence. I like being the defence one. So I was
like goal attack.
I'm not very good at shooting, but I'm good at pushing the ball out of the way.
I used to be really tall, which is surprising, isn't it? Like when I was at junior school and I was like 11, I was 5'1", which I am now, and 5'1" at 11 is quite tall.
That is.
But then I stopped growing.
And you just stopped. Oh, love you.
So I was like brilliant at netball because I was really tall, and then by the time I got to like 13, I had to give up netball because I wasn't tall enough anymore. Shame, isn't it? But at least I had. At least I wasn't small for the whole of my life. I had a moment of being really tall.
And being goal attack as well. You have to be fair
being goal attack. Loved it.
So forehead piece, I'm just going to open those 2 face pieces out. And this is where you need some really good pins, which I'm lucky enough to
just move. Can you move it forward just to... Lovely.
Oh, there we are.
Lovely.
So I'm just going to make sure that point here goes right into the nose here. So first of all, I'll pop
so that's the top of his head. Yeah,
yes,
okay,
that's
I can see. I'm looking at Bobby and I can see where you are now.
And then to make sure you get this arc length perfect, you just take that bottom piece here and you fold it so it's in line with the base of the neck, and then you'd put a pin in here. Just like
it's nice to have those 2 anchor points though, isn't it?
And it just, because you can very easily, if you start from one end and work all the way down to the other, you think, oh, it doesn't match.
Yeah.
But I can assure you that they are the exact same length, but it's just how you line them up, really.
Okay.
So, one thing I should have said before I started, actually, you have actually got, they're very, very faint. You will see it very clearly on your panel, but there is 2 tiny little marks on the forehead piece.
Oh, okay, actually printed onto it.
Yes, and all that's for is for you to those the little gaps that you need to be left open. So it'd be the same as it is for the open gaps on the backs of the legs and the arms. So all you'll do is just take a pen, don't worry about this because you won't see it, but you want to make sure that you draw those on the opposite side, just because you want a bit of, or put a pin in it. It's just an indicator to that's what you need to leave open, because that's where you're going to be putting your ears.
Yeah, okay.
So I've already pinned those 2 pieces, so now I'm going to be pin all the way around. I find it easier to do one side first, sew that, and then the other side.
Oh, so you sew from the outside to the centre and then the outside to the centre, not the outside to the outside?
Yes, so
Okay,
I just find
got
it, yeah. So there we are. And just line it up as you go along. Not that one. And one more. There we are, and just then that way, when you pin it, you can just smooth
Yeah,
out.
no, I can see it's really easing. It's really nice to see this because I think sometimes when you make things, you think, oh, well, maybe I've cut it out wrong. Why isn't it fitting? But because it looks like it won't fit because of the
It
curves,
does.
but it definitely does.
So there we are, that's all pinned into place now. So what I will do is sew all along that one side, but make sure you leave that little marked line open, and make sure you backstitch forward and back to make sure that you
So you leave the bit sort of where the nose is open.
a little bit, just very slightly, but again, even if you go over it, it doesn't matter because you cover it all up with a patch.
All right, okay.
So if you wanted to be really careful, you can leave the tiny bit open, but
Right.
I'll show you that when I get to
Okay.
the next part. So again, backstitch always when you're making the toys, so when you come to put them together, they don't fall apart. Oh, you don't sew over my pins. I always take them out very close to. There we are. So I'm just going to backstitch there, and then I'm going to start from that other gap.
So how big is the gap then?
Very small. It's
Okay.
about 3/4 of an inch.
And why is
if
there a
that.
gap?
That's for where the ears. I'm going to sew the ears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ah, the ear gap, the ear roll.
my ear gap.
It's an ear roll.
And
Oh, see, I thought you said the gap was where the nose is, but it's not. The gap is where the ears go.
so the ears go.
But if you don't get the bit around the nose sewn neatly, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
'cause
matter.
it'll be covered with the
you
nose.
cover it up, yeah. So that's. Yeah. So this is where it's a good time to you can just flip it out the other way, and all that does, you're just going to check that you've caught all those seams, which I'm quite happy about. Yeah, that's good. So now I'll just do the exact same on the other side. So the base of the neck to the base of the forehead, pop a pin it in there, and then line it all up. So I tend to do the head piece first, and then I do the body afterwards. And it's almost like you're getting the trickiest bit out of the way, really.
Which is quite nice, isn't it? Because I always, well, I don't know, with like everybody else, I'm always much more patient at the beginning of when
Yeah.
I'm making something. When I get to I take a bit more care and time, and I've got more patience. And when I get to the end of it, I just want to finish it now.
And also, you want to, I don't know about you, but when you're making something, you want to make it, as you're making it, you want to see what it is quite
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Whereas if you've done the head, you know it's a rabbit. Whereas
Well, you can feel a sense of progress, and then if you're just
Yes.
doing it in little bits, you can think, right, well, this evening I'll do the head, and then tomorrow I'll do. It's nice to have achieved one bit at a time.
And the beauty about this project is it comes together really quickly. And there's already been a few people have already bought it on the last show, and they've already made it. They've already
Really?
put pictures up.
Oh, they've all put their how
yeah,
nice.
really impressive. There was one lady who put a little cross stitch on the little kiss on the end of the nose. It was so cute. It was.
That would be quite nice, actually, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? I do like his little smile as well. Got a lovely little smile.
I said even.
I've got his bottom now. Let me turn him around.
Let me just. There we are. Let me just pull that one out.
I'll have my bunnies together.
Let me just get it in there. There we are.
Look, they're hugging.
You like playing with those?
I do. I really like them. They're really cute. Makes great Christmas presents, though, wouldn't
Oh,
they?
perfect Christmas present. And also, we were saying when I was on with John, if to buy those, to buy toys. They're really expensive.
Really expensive. But you've made them yourself as well, but they would look lovely and so unusual. You won't see them anywhere else. And at the moment, you know, we're trying to get out and you do your Christmas shopping. I think it's nice to have a kit that you can just make yourself. I guess you could give the kit to somebody, couldn't you? Somebody who wanted to start sewing.
And also, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but if people do want to buy a few and sell them, I don't mind. I don't mind you selling them.
Yes, so as long as you don't sell the kits.
Yeah. But
Or copy them.
But yeah, but if you were going to do craft fairs,
if you were doing a craft fair and you wanted to sell the finished bunny, then that's fine.
Yeah,
so Bella is currently, the most popular. That's me. That's me. I'm the most popular. She's upset Bobby now. He's sulking. So the panel that you get with Bella, and this is the most popular one, is like this. So it's got the floral printy shoes, boots, pink ears and tummy, and then a really pretty floral print head and a pink nose. Or you can choose between a light pink, a dark pink and a black nose, whatever colour nose you like. So she is the most popular at the moment, and that's the panel that you'll get. And remember, there will be a slight delay, but not massive. We are working to get it sorted out at the moment.
So with the ears, so I've done the headpiece. What I did do just a second ago was I just did turn it the right way around just to make sure that all the seams have all been sewn and there's no gaps. So now you can choose whether you want the blue on the inside or if you want the plain on the inside. So the way to do that is you fold in half. So say if I want the plain on the inside, then I'll fold it that way.
Oh, so on Bella, she's got the colour on the outside.
Yeah.
And Bobby's got the plain
on the outside. Yeah. So if I wanted to make it the way Bobby is now, I would fold the blue right sides together.
Right.
So I think I've done my sample that way. So yeah, we'll do it that way. So you just fold the ears that way. Now you get the head, so it's the wrong way out, and you will pull the ear just through that little gap that you left open. So it's only a tiny little
Can you put
gap.
it on the table, I think, to be able to... Oh, that's
just
better.
put it down.
Lovely. Elliot says thank you very much.
You're welcome, Elliot.
And now you can see the ear coming through the ear hole.
There you go, so it's just sticking out the ear. And all I'll do now is sew over that. So where the stitches started and stopped, I'll just sew that bit there.
And then they're nice and secure, because I guess if you're giving this to a small child,
that's where
it's
they're going to
very
be holding,
important
aren't
that
they?
you reverse stitch him.
Reverse stitch a couple of times.
So the ears don't come off.
There we are.
So is this fine for a child, any age?
Yes, obviously always be mindful when you're doing anything handmade to give it to a child, but there's no bits that are going to, there's nothing that can fall off. That's why I did do it with the sewn eyes and nose.
Yeah, so there's no buttons or noses or...
But if you want to add buttons and things, you know, just be mindful giving it to a child. I mean, my Louis is 5 and I'll give him one with buttons and things on, because I know he's not going to bite the buttons off, but I suppose you never know, do you?
That's true, yeah.
There we are. So I've just done the same.
But it is nice that all the features, so you know that it's nice and safe, that all the features are embroidered.
There we are. Yes, the worst that will do is if they pulled the bit of the stitching off, but it would take, because it's a satin stitch, it would take quite a while to put it all
would be,
off.
yeah. I think it's fine if eyes are embroidered and features, I think that's fine.
And how lovely to do for a new baby.
Yeah,
For a
so,
nursery.
yeah.
And if you didn't know what they were having, I'd go for Betty.
Go for Betty, because she's green and neutral, isn't she? So you could have anything. And it's nice, I like the fact that you have all the labels.
Yeah, so
that you can put, if you can't put their name on, you could put Betty, but you could actually embroider, if you knew what their name was, if they just had the baby, you could embroider their name on it, could you, on the tummy? Because if you're going to do that, it's best to embroider it before you sew it together. So you could just embroider their name on one of the ears.
Yeah. You can make little bows as well, put little bows at the top of the ears.
Really cute. But yeah, lovely gift for a new baby.
All I'm doing here is sewing the darts on the side of the face, not the back of the head yet. So don't sew the forehead dart that we cut earlier, only the sides of the
ones
face.
on the...
Yeah, so you don't want to sew the one at the back of the head yet, because that's what's going to help us put the head, attach the head to the body.
So just the ones that are in the sort of the cheeks.
Yeah, the cheeks. Yeah, I think I did right cheeks. I'm not sure. So there, that is my headpiece ready to go. So then you want to turn that one right sides out, and then you'll just leave it to one side. There we are. So push the nose out like that. Cut out any little threads. And
Squeaking.
there you go. There's the head. It doesn't look like much yet, but you know, Bobby's new best mate. There we are. So I'll put his head over there.
2 bobbies.
2 bobbies. Okay, so now I recommend that when you do cut your pieces out, just write on the opposite side what it is, because the back body pieces and the front body pieces do look very similar, apart from the front body piece has got an angle at the top. At the neck.
Okay.
So with those, this is the front body piece. You're going to put right sides together, and you're going to sew from here all the way down to that first bottom corner just there, and make sure you back stitch. 1/4 inch seam allowance throughout as well.
And that's all included in the piece already, so you haven't
Yeah.
got to add anything on. Or...
No, you've got to do absolutely anything. So that's my front body piece all ready to go. So he can just go over there. So because it's been sewn on that curve, he's got a nice little tummy. There we
Oh,
go.
that's lovely, isn't it? That's what gives
Yeah.
him the nice fat
That's
tummy.
little tummy.
That shaping.
Now the back piece,
So cuddleable.
it is on the panel. All you're going to do for the back piece is you don't want to sew all the way down. You'll have 2 marks on there, one just up here and one here. So make sure you pop a little mark. Obviously I know where it is, so that's why I've just put it there. And you're only going to sew from here down to there, because you want to leave that bit open to put it all together and stuff it.
Right.
So,
So the gaps that are marked on the front, you just put them onto the back and
Yeah.
then sew either side of them. Okay.
now that's our back piece. So we'll just put that to the side as well. Now we're going to attach the arms and the legs to the front body piece, and again there is slight marks on there's armholes, and there's a little dot here either side for the leg placement as well. So you can do this beforehand, but all you do is take, say, an arm piece here, and what you want to do to make them fuller, you want to fold them so the 2 seams meet like that. And what we're going to do then, you want the open bit here to be at the back of the bunny. You don't want it to be at the front. You don't want to show off all your stitches. So what you will do then is that you will place one arm at the back of the bunny here, put a pin in it, and do it on the other side. And what we're going to do, rather than baste it, I'm just going to sew very close to the edge, and all that will do is hold it in place. So when you sew round with a 1/4 inch seam, it gets hidden, and it just stops it falling apart.
Oh, okay. So you don't stuff it at this stage?
No, I don't stuff it to the end.
Right.
Only because I wanted to go for that floppy look,
Yeah.
and I think if it was all stuffed together, it'll be a bit.
Yeah.
It won't.
Be a bit scared, wouldn't
It
it?
would
And then
be.
you wouldn't be able to wave the arms and clap the hands.
Exactly. Yeah. Drag it around by its ear. And
Yeah.
so I'll
I
just,
guess you've got to make sure that when you put it in, that its thumbs are going upwards as well.
yes. So I should just do that on the other side, just here. Making sure that those stitches will be at the back. So as I do it like that, as it will go back, and the thumbs are sticking up. So again, don't just sew as close to the edge as possible. All it's doing is just tacking it into place. That's all that's for.
Oh,
there.
okay. Just to hold it for
Just
now.
to hold it for now, and it saves you playing with loads of pins. Now you'll do the same with the leg piece. Meet the
It's quite
seams
nice that that's
together.
how you sort of get the shape, by sort of, yeah.
And then what you'll do is to the body piece,
Yeah, that's nice. Yes,
with
yes.
a little arm there, sorry, not arm, mark. And what you want to do is make sure that the booty bit is facing towards the bunny.
Okay.
Otherwise, his legs will be on the wrong way round. And then you'll have to
And then
start
he'd be walking
unpicking.
backwards.
So again, I'm just going to give that a quick stitch into place very quickly. There we are. that bit off. And I'll do the same on the other leg. So seams meet together, put it where the mark is, open it out, and then I'm just going to sew that one as well. So now I'm happy that all of those pieces are sewn on the right way round. So your bunny, legs and arms
Oh,
everywhere.
that's brilliant. Right, let me just stop you there because we need to just do a quick roundup of the kits.
Okie doke.
So you can see what we... They're so popular, don't want you to miss out. So, no, that's not Bobby, that's Betty. Oh no, Bobby is the one that Delphine is currently making. Betty's sitting on her desk. There's too many bees. So the blue one that's called Bobby. In there you get the toy filling, the printed panel with all the pieces you need, all ready to shape. Seam allowances are included with all the pieces. Even the legs are printed on, so you don't have to join those separately. So you get that as a printed fabric panel with a choice of 3 noses and a printed set of instructions, all glossy with lots of walkthrough photos and step-by-steps and ideas and tips. They're really good and very easy to follow. So that's Bobby. He's the one that's on the screen at the moment. Half of Bobby has gone. Half of the stock of Bobby has now gone. So let's do Bella next. Bella is our most popular. I don't know whether it's because she's pink. Don't know, why is Bella most popular? Because she's pink. Yeah, she loves pink. I don't know. So Bella, you can see, she's got the pink ears on the outside and the cream on the inside. And then with Bobby, he's got cream on the outside and blue on the inside. So you can see, you can choose though which way around you put them. Mix and match or swap them over. It looks slightly mismatched. So with Bella, obviously you get the printed panel that's got all the pieces you need ready to cut out. Seam allowances are included. And it makes the size of the bunny, obviously, that I'm holding here. You get full instructions and wadding as well. All in your kit. We still have some stock of this left, but not much. So if you do want Bella, please check out. And then finally, Betty, who's a really lovely mint green colour with a floral print head. Now she's perfect for if you don't, if you want to make it for a baby, you don't know what sex it is, or you want to keep it quite neutral. Look, there's Betty. Delphine is holding Betty at the moment, isn't she lovely? I love her green. She's in a really nice baby green as well, sort of a subtle mint green, not really like bright acid green, yeah. Anyway, with Betty, you get the printed panel, which again has all the pieces you need, featuring the sort of the green print and the yellow and green print on the head. You get full instructions, and this is what the panel looks like. So you can see she's got, I like her calves. She's got really nice solid calves, doesn't she?
She has.
I love the curve on them. Remember, there is a small delay on the panels at the moment, not massive, but we just wanted to warn you, it will be a little bit longer than our normal postage period, but they are exclusive to us, so we're just trying to get that sorted out at the moment. So you get the printed panel, the wadding, and full instructions. I think Bella is now the new presenter.
She is.
Because she does such lovely hand actions. Anyway, Delphine, back to you.
Hello. So all I've done is folded in. So you've got your Bobby here. Well, half of him. Poor lad. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to fold in the legs and the arms. And what you're going to do is then take your back piece, right sides together, and line up where his bottom would be. There we are. So line up Bobby's bottom and stick a pin in him there. Now, again, you're going to do one side first, followed by the other side, only because it makes it easier.
Okay.
So I would then put a pin at the top here, just like we did with the face pieces. And then I'm going to line up the rest of the front piece to the back piece. And just pin as I go. And making sure that you've got those legs. Make sure they're out the way, because you don't want to catch them as you're sewing them. There we are. And I'm going to do another one there. And all I'll do now is I'm going to sew all along that side first and back stitch, and then I'll come to the other side. So start at the bottom. I'll get pins everywhere in a moment. I'll just put you there. There we go. So make sure you catch everything as you go round. And just give it a little bit of squeeze. And back stitch. There we go. So again, the beauty of doing it this way is also you can go in and have a quick check. Now, if you have got a little gap and there is a little gap in anywhere within the seam, just go back over it again. Like I said, when you stuff it, it holds all of those little things anyway. So don't worry about it. Right. Now I'm going to go and do the other side. There we go. Make sure they're out of the way. So again, start off, pin at the top. You already know it's holding at the bottom. And then just line up the rest of the seams as you go around. So it's quite quick to put together, really. And then line those bits up as well. Yeah. So trim your threads as you go along as well, because sometimes they can get caught up. So it's best to do that at this stage, really, rather than a bit further down the line. So, and there we go. So I'm just going to go straight to the machine now and sew the other side of the body, and that is will be the body done. And then it's just attaching the head, and then you're done. Okay. Make sure you're going to be 1/4 inch seam, so you're definitely going to encase those arms and you hide all your other stitches. And best to do it with the needle down so you can keep stopping and just adjusting as you go. And
You have made that really quickly. I know you'd made the arms and the legs beforehand.
It's really quick.
But the actual sort of construction of it is quite quick,
Goes
isn't
together
it?
really quick. So, you know, even, you know, you said there's only a tiny little delay. You'll be able to get loads of these done by Christmas.
Oh yes, definitely.
Loads of
Oh,
them.
they made lovely presents. Do you always have a list on your Christmas lists which presents you're going to make?
I always have an idea of what I'd like to make, but Christmas is usually my busiest time of year. So I don't know if I'll be I do tend to do things for friends where I'll do. There was one year I did embroidered their names on a towel.
Yeah.
And inside that I put like a face mask, a little bottle of Prosecco and some chocolates and things. I've done it with little bags.
Have you done that this
So-
year?
Not this year.
Oh, I was going to say they know now.
No, not this year. I don't know what I'm going to do this year. So I still haven't moved house. Can you believe it? Still haven't moved. Hopefully next week, Wednesday. So
Is it next Wednesday? Oh,
hopefully.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're ready to go. I'm literally in boxes everywhere. So.
Got a message from Julie.
Hello.
Julie says, missed out last time, but I got one of each.
Oh,
Woo!
lovely.
Brilliant. They'll look lovely together,
They
won't they?
will.
What
Well,
are you
they
going to do?
do,
Keep
yeah.
them all or pass them on? But they are lovely together, aren't they?
So what I'm going to do now, that is your,
So is that all of his legs and arms?
that's all of his legs and everything, all tucked in. Or you can have them hanging out the back, it doesn't really matter really. So just to attach the head, we've got time, yeah, because I want to show you some finishing bits
Yes,
as well.
you've got time. You've got like 10 minutes.
So you'll get the headpiece, and you want this line here, where his neck is, to be in the centre of the front body piece.
Otherwise, he'll be facing backwards.
Otherwise, be facing backwards, and then you'd be really upset. So, then
Have
there's a
you
lot
ever
of
stitched
thinking.
one on backwards?
No,
No.
yet. Yeah.
Until today. Until
Yeah.
today when you go, ta-da! And you go, oh, I'm really sorry, he's on
Live on
backwards.
telly. Oh dear. So
I've done things like that before and then done it again.
yeah, I do. I tend to make a lot of mistakes when I'm tired because I tend to do a lot of my sewing in the evening really, because obviously I've got the boys and then Nick works full time, and so usually we tag team working. So
Yeah.
he'll take over the boys, and so I tend to do a lot of my sewing at night. So I do make a lot of mistakes when I'm.
I get really
That's right.
excited and like really keen and go, right, this is what I'm going to do this evening. And then I hit a point where I go, actually, I just don't want to do anymore, and then just have to abandon it. and watch the telly
Yeah.
and get my crochet out instead.
Oh, I know. It's
Get the
an
crochet
exciting
out.
day.
Yeah, you need to learn to crochet.
do need to learn to crochet.
learn. But 12 o'clock, in fact, Helen's here already. Our
Oh,
brand new guest, Helen from Woolly Chic. I saw her in the break between the two shows, so she's here already. I said, you're here very early, Helen. She goes, it's fine, I've got all my crochet with me. So maybe she's teaching the office how to crochet while we're out here.
well, she can teach me in an hour, in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you learn it?
Yes, she'll still be here. When you have your go off at 10, and Helen will be on with us at 12 to launch Yarn Lane with me. We're going to do it together. And in 2 hours in between, she'll teach you to crochet, Darphine.
Yeah.
I expect you to come back at 11.
I've only ever done arm knitting.
knitting.
Yeah.
But crochet's so easy. It's just lovely. It's just a lovely thing to do. And what I like is you can do it without looking.
Yes,
Really looking.
yes.
So you can watch telly at the same time.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? 'Cause when I'm doing my needle felting and embroidery, you constantly got your glasses on the end of your nose. And
Embroidery's the worst for that. I think you can't really look away.
no, and I do wear glasses only for close-up sewing and things. But if I don't wear them and I'm really close up, really concentrating, you look up and it's like you've had a few too
I have
many
special
gins you can't
glasses
see.
because I have to have glasses for close-up work or reading or anything, but not far. But I have special embroidery glasses.
Special embroidery
Well,
glasses.
you know because mine are just like the cheap ones you buy from cheap pound places,
yeah.
and they're like +1 or +2.
Yes.
I have special embroidery ones that have got another half plus on them, and they're amazing, but they make you feel sick.
Yeah.
So I'm fine when I'm embroidering because it's like embroidering, rather than buying a magnifier, you just buy stronger glasses, and it's like embroidering under a magnifier, but then when you look up, whoa, yeah.
Makes you feel a bit giddy. Yeah.
It's probably not very good for me, but I do have special embroidery glasses that I bought from a pound shop. It's probably not very good for you. You probably should go to an optician, but they work a treat.
I was going to say, maybe you should go to an optician's about that.
Yeah, but they're just like reading glasses. They're old age, isn't it, when your eyesight goes? I haven't got I can see long distance. It gets to the point when you can't actually read the back of red sauces and jars.
Yeah, so when I've
Curry paste jars can't read anymore.
you like that, having them.
But it's because they're purple with an orange print. Ridiculous.
Of all the things I wasn't expecting to say you can't read curry jars.
Curry paste, because of the sometimes I take a photo with my phone and then just enlarge it.
What you like.
There's something about curry paste, they're purple with an orange print and the two colours just don't work. I bet there's lots of people out there who have the same problem as me with curry paste.
I'll be interested to see what the Facebook page is doing about now, seeing what you can and can't read.
They're probably going, what are you talking about? Could you please talk about sewing, not curry?
So what I would do then...
So now we've got the head on the right way round.
Yeah, so the right way round. All I've done is check to make sure it's all attached. And then what I would do is turn it back the wrong way, inside out.
Yeah.
And you would just sew that dart together at the back of the head, leaving a gap at the back of the body. So as you turn it out, you'll have a gap because you want this gap for sewing. So there you go.
So by sewing the final part of the head, well, the head dart and the back seam means they match.
Yes.
Which is a much easier way of getting them to...
That's right, yeah. So there we are. Hello. So there's
rabbit.
your bunny. So I'm gonna, there's one I've made earlier.
Deflated rabbit.
So he's all been stuffed.
Oh,
He's got no face. He's got no personality yet. So we need to sort that out, don't we?
oh.
So what you do when you stuff him, make sure you pack it all right into the front of the head, especially the nose, because when you come to do the embroidery on that bit, you want to make sure that that's really nice and firm, and the body. But when you stuff the legs, don't go too crazy with the wadding. You just want it to be
Yeah, you want the
a little
tops
bit
of the
softer.
arms to...
Otherwise, he'll stand out like this. And he won't be as cute.
I think, yeah, as long as you don't have the sort of the stuffing in the top of them too much, then they are nice and floppy, aren't they?
Yeah, and like you say, they can wave their arms and all sorts. So I've already closed the other seams. Now, so what I would do the body first, and then sew the body up, and then I will come and do the arms and
We've
legs.
got a few minutes left.
So to sew, you'll use a double-stranded thread, and
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So 2 pieces of cotton with a little knot on the end.
Okay.
And just to make sure that it's not going to come all the way through your fabric. And all you're going to do is a ladder stitch. It's a very quick stitch. You only want to pick up just 1 or 2 threads of the fabric, very, very close to the ends. And what you'll do is it will create like a little ladder effect. You're just going forward and back, and then when you squeeze it, it will close that seam, and you'll barely be able to see the stitches. So you'll do this for the back and all of.
So that's how you close all of the seams then.
Yeah. And it's quite quick once you get going.
Yeah, and on the back of the instructions, there is a diagram of how to do that.
Exactly how to do it.
It actually looks like a scar. Ugh. Actually looks quite horrible, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
But it looks but it does show how you're closing up a wound. So if you ever have to do any emergency wound stitching,
yeah,
which we wouldn't recommend you do,
I
but
hope
should
not.
you be, you know,
you don't want to go to you don't want to go to the hospital. You do it yourself.
I know, but we could get in trouble for saying that.
Yeah,
But we don't recommend that you ever
don't
do
it.
that.
No, don't
But I
do
bet
it.
that's how they do it.
Yeah,
Don't you?
I would have thought so. Yeah. Any nurses out there, let us know.
Yeah, I bet all the nurses will be messaging us now going, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. In Bunny Hospital.
There you are.
But if you can't remember what Delphine's doing, there is a diagram for the ladder stitch and the whip stitch.
Yeah, because I didn't get to do this on the last one, so that's
Or
why.
you can watch those. So what date were you on last time?
Oh, it was
Hannah.
It was a Wednesday, not
was a
last Wednesday, the
Wednesday.
Wednesday before. It was with John.
So it wasn't last Wednesday, it was the Wednesday before. What date was that, Hannah? They're going to check for me now. One moment, caller. Just checking.
So there we are, that's that one closed already. So I'll just quickly show you again how to do the smile, because even though we've got the diagrams, I think, again, if you're like me and you're a visual learner, it does help.
You've got
to-
a couple of minutes left.
I should be able
But it shows how quickly you can sew up the arms
There you go,
or
done.
any of
And
the
then
gaps.
you can just put the needle through and just let the threads get lost, but if you want to make it really secure, I'll do a little knot on the end, especially if you're going to be giving it to a child.
Okay.
It's going to
So
get a lot of
Wednesday the
use.
21st of October
That
at
was
10 a.m. If you want to watch Delphine's show, so she goes into detail with some parts of it on this show and some on Wednesday the 21st. Just write those two dates down, and then when you get your kit, you can watch them both back, and you'll get even. I mean, all the instructions you need, to be honest, you don't need to watch the YouTube. It's just more interesting on YouTube than it is in the instructions.
Yeah. So I've used a bit of a black embroidery thread now for the smile. So again, you can tie a little knot on the end.
How
if
many
you want
strands
to.
of stranded
Just
cotton
one.
together?
This is stranded cotton.
So is it all six
all
strands?
6 strands,
Okay.
yeah. So I'll just create a little locking stitch there. So you don't want to double it up, just a single will do. Don't worry about that bit, because that'll be covered up with the nose. So you'll go in the seam where the face bit is.
Right.
Just there.
And how far down do you go?
Wherever you like. I think you want to be on a really big smile. I've done
Okay.
that about 1.5 inches.
Right.
So I'm just doing this by eye, but you can do a little pencil mark. And then you stick it out the other side of the cheek like that.
Oh, that's actually making me wince a bit.
Is it what?
Just like, it just comes out the other side of your face.
Comes out the other side of your face. And then you go back in where you came out earlier, and you complete the
And
smile.
on the other side of your face. So I suppose you could draw that on with like a heat erasable pen if you, if you wanted to be sure.
And then
And if it's wrong, you can always
you just pull it out.
pull it out and
Yeah.
start again.
You go back in there and give it a bit of a squeeze, because that is quite tight. Be careful of your fingers. And pull the hole tight. There you go. It's got a smile. And then all I'll do is lock that off. Like that.
Oh, he's really smiling.
There we are. He's a lovely little smile. Now I'll just give him a quick eye. If I've got time to show a quick eye.
How long have we got left, Hannah? Couple of minutes.
Oh.
Like literally 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
They've said literally.
Okay. So you can choose where you put your eye. I like to have them a bit further back because I think it's cuter, but you can have them a bit closer to the mouth. That's why I didn't put them on, because I think it's a personal
I suppose you
preference.
could cut out like a little dot from something and
Yeah.
then pin it, or put pins in.
Pins,
Pins
yeah.
with heads. So you could try it out.
And see where you
the
want to
ones with
put
the
it,
plastic
yeah.
or glass heads, and then you could see what expression you liked. You could put eyelashes on.
Eyelashes, yeah. You can just like they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do that.
That's
you can
true.
Do it. Well, there's. I've also
Yeah,
used
if you
buttons or-
Googled like embroidered toy features, you could probably get some quite
Oh,
good
get
ideas.
loads.
If you wanted to do sleeping ones, or
And also with especially with Bobby, the one thing I love about him is that what you could do when you sew your front pieces together, straight after you've done that, you could sew a couple of little buttons.
That would be nice. He could have a tie, couldn't he?
You can have a tie, yeah.
That would be nice to put buttons on it, wouldn't it? Or you could, I mean, that's the thing with all of these kits is that although, you know, you give the instructions, this is how to do it, you have to make it your own. If you wanted to embroider flowers all over it, you can.
You
could embroider, you know, before you stuff them, you can embroider bracelets on the wrists or a watch or...
Yeah, you can do little ballet laces going up the legs.
You could, yeah, with satin ribbon, you can make them into ballet
there we
shoes.
are. So there's his eyes.
Yeah, Bobby could have football boots.
And then with the nose, all you'll do, like I said, you've got 3 to choose from on each pattern. You just choose which one you wanted, cut it out, but whip stitch it on, or you could do a blanket stitch.
Okay, and that's on the back of the instructions
And that's
as well.
all on the back of the instructions. And then the tail, I did demo how to do the tail on the last show.
Okay, 21st of October, 10 a.m. if you haven't seen that one.
And then obviously with your labels, you can personalise it however you like. The labels are quite nice because when you put it on the back, because obviously I'll put his tail here.
Oh, shall I show you the back of my Bobby?
And then all you do then, you can put the little label over the top and that just hides all your stitching. There you go. And
Yes, if you have a look at my Bobby, there he is. Look, there you can see. Whoa. There's his, whoa, let me move that way. There's his tail and then the label that says, that's printed on the panel saying
That
Bobby.
was a rushed one, that one. I think Bella looks better.
Is I'll show you Bella. It's sewn on top of it. So like on this one, on Bella, there is a label that you can say who it's made by, and then there's Bella's name, but you don't have to put that on if you don't want to, and then there's the tail there. Well, thank you so much, Delphine. That's been brilliant. Thanks for coming in. And for all those people who couldn't get them on the 21st of October, thank you for your patience. We're going to do just a quick roundup of the availability. So starting with Bobby. Bobby's the blue, the one that Delphine's been demonstrating with today. Remember, with all of them, you get a full-size printed panel with all of the pieces on. You also get the whole pack of wadding, and you also get the instructions. On the screen at the moment, you could see the panel. Yeah, there's the panel. That just shows you all the pieces that you will get. That shows you how easy it is to cut out. All 100% cotton. It's really good quilting weight cotton, but it's got a little bit of stiffness to it, so it's very good for toy making as well. But it is. But just remember, there is a very slight delay on all our exclusive printed panels at the moment. But you know, it's just, you know what, you know, the state of things at the moment and supplies. But we are working to sort it out. It's not going to be a massive delay, but we can't promise you our normal, extremely efficient delay. So we just wanted to let you know. Bella Bunny, the pink one. She's the most popular. This is Bella. She still is the most popular. She's been the most popular from the beginning. So we've lost. So well over half of Bella has gone. Once everyone has checked out, there are only single. You just want to move their legs, don't you? Da, da, da. There are only single figures left of the bunnies when you've all checked out. So if you've got him or her in your basket and you want him, do check out. So remember, each of the bunnies comes with the printed panel with all the pieces you need. A pack of is there enough soft toy filling in the bag? Yes, there's enough soft toy filling to adequately fill your bunny, but not overfill, and the full set of instructions as well, which is here. Do you want to go overhead and look at it? That's your full set of instructions. And as you can see, in the instructions are full step-by-step photos taken by Delphine when she was actually making it. So they're real. Real, not just pretend. They were taken while she was... So these are all the problems and issues that you will come across easily solved. And then the final bunny is Betty, who's the sort of the pale mint green, and she's got like a yellow and green print white top with a yellow nose. Again, she comes with a fully printed panel, the soft toy filling, and full instructions. So $24.99. It's not bad, is it? $24.99 for a whole rabbit. And it's a good size. I don't know how tall it is when it's standing up. see, look at that, it's quite big. Yeah, if you've never made a soft toy before, as Delphine said, you know, if you've never made, this is fine, but she said a confident beginner. So if you've done a little bit of sewing before, you know how to use a sewing machine, or you want to get onto the next project, she's shown you how simple this is. You know, it's, you could make little clothes for them if you were a bit better. You know, you can make a little waistcoat and dresses. I think you should start off with making it pyjamas, because any little boy or girl who had this would want to take it to bed with them, and then they'd want to put his pyjamas on. So a nightie or pyjamas, that's what I'd start with. You can have all sorts of things. Anyway, thank you for joining us for the bunnies, and thank you so much, Delphine. So in the next hour, we are going to be talking about all sorts of different tools that you can use for your mainly sort of patchwork and quilting, but general sewing as well. Really interesting. I'll show you lots of different things. And Delphine will be back with us at 11 to show us a really interesting pet panel. That would be great. And don't forget, 12 o'clock is the launch of Yarn Lane, when we've got Helen from Woolly Chic, who's already in the building, ready to teach us how to crochet. So don't turn off at 12, because I am extremely excited for the launch of Yarn Lane. We're all excited. So go make yourself a cup of tea, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day, and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual. Always keep it to hand, because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
We are so excited for the launch of Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn. We'll be bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests, as well as all the latest tools and gadgets. Watch our launch show on Monday the 2nd of November at 12 p.m. on Freeview channel 74, Sky channel 670 or our YouTube channel, when Helen from Woolly Chic will be teaching you how to crochet. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Yarn Lane TV, and subscribe to our email newsletter to keep up to date with what's coming up.
Hi, I'm Helen from Woolly Chic. I design knitting and crochet patterns, and I also teach crochet in Hitchin, Hertfordshire, where I live. My mum taught me to knit and crochet when I was a teenager, but it wasn't until my children were little that I picked up a crochet hook again and literally became hooked, and I haven't stopped crocheting and now knitting ever since. I began designing about 8 years ago and started selling my patterns as part of kits, putting together my designs with British wool, some of which comes from my family's sheep farmed in Pembrokeshire, Wales. I love the fact that with a simple fibre like wool, you can create something really beautiful and unique. like garments or handmade accessories, cushions, blankets. Yeah, the possibilities are limitless. I'm also passionate about teaching crochet and passing on the skills that I have learnt. I'm really looking forward to being part of Yarn Lane TV and sharing some tips and tricks with you, and I really hope that you enjoy watching.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness, and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton, and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
We are so excited for the launch of Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn. We'll be bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests, as well as all the latest tools and gadgets. Watch our launch show on Monday the 2nd of November at 12 p.m. on Freeview Channel 74, Sky Channel 670 or our YouTube channel, when Helen from Woolly Chic will be teaching you how to crochet. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Yarn Lane TV and subscribe to our email newsletter to keep up to date with what's coming up. Sorry. Sorry, I was watching the Yarn Lane advert. Anyway, I'm back. I'm too excited about 12 o'clock. Oh, sorry. Very complicated. Right, we've got some really good tools and gadgets for you in this hour. Now, I love a tool and gadget, a bit of a sucker for them, and honestly, I buy quite a lot of them, and then some of them I never use. But I've had a good play with all of these. Some of them I've used lots of times before, so I love them, and others I haven't even seen before, so this is great. It's really interesting. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been sewing for, does it? It's nothing better than a new gadget. And some of the best gadgets are the most inexpensive ones, but then sometimes you get what you pay for. So I always say, have a go. Have a go and see what you think. I was telling people the other week that I'd never used a bias binding tool before because they're so small. I thought they must be rubbish. Oh, transformed my life. Love them. Love them. Get yourself a bias. So this is a tool. You can't really say it's a tool because it's actually a machine. It's a machine. Shall I bring it in? Now, Delphine really wants one of these if she ever moves house. She's supposed to be moving next week. Now, we've had this on before and we've only just got it back in stock. So if you're wondering what it is a machine, but it's not your normal sewing machine. There's no thread. No thread at all. There's no threading up. There's no bobbins. There's no top thread. Fantastic. It's an embellishing machine. Now, it's an amazing piece of equipment. The best thing about it is for the full price, it's £359. But because it's over the 149, it comes into the split pay. So we can split it over 3 months. So you'll make one payment today of £119.65. And then we will send it to you. And then you'll make another payment a month later, another payment a month later until you've paid off all 3. But you haven't got to wait till the end of the 3 months. There's no interest. We're not making any money from this. We're just making it easy for you by splitting it. So you'll have paid it off by early January. It's not, you know, it doesn't make any difference whether you pay the whole amount now or you pay it upon split. But we will send it to you now. You don't got to wait the 3 months. So we've only ever shown this once since we've had split pay available, and that was on the 25th of October. So if you want to go back and watch the full demo. I've got too much in this hour to be going through it all now. We've only got a limited number, but if you want to have a look to see how they work and how they run, then go back to the demo on the 25th of October. Anyway, the way that it works, it has this bunch grouping of 5 needles which are slightly barbed, so they have like a point on the end, but then like a fishing hook, I guess, that's barbed, and what that does is that it pulls the fabric. So let me show you some examples. 2 have already been checked out. 2 minutes into the show. So what this does, I'm going to show you some examples, is you make your own fabric. Now it's like needle felting, so you can use felt on the background and then put felt on the top like we've done here. You then run that under the machine, and then the action of the needles and the barbs going up and down through it pushes the top fabric into the bottom, so you get that this lovely effect on there. But you can also use the back as well, and that gives that lovely rainbow effect. Now it's not just for needle felting. You can also use it with like a plain fabric, and then you can get lots of different scraps of fabric. It doesn't have to be with felt, and then you can pull that all into it together as well. So we've got quite a few examples here. Oh no, I like. There's a 2-year guarantee as well. Look at this one. This one's got words on it. Oh, shall I turn it round so you can actually read it? So Jane, who works for Elna, she made this. It says Jane. Look, that's great, isn't it? But it is actually her machine. But you can use it with just cotton fabric. It doesn't have to be felt, and it looks amazing. What you would do is you collect all your little scraps of fabric, all the pieces that are far too small to do anything with, and then you layer them on top of the fabric, run it through the machine, and all the little points and the barbs just push it in, and you're creating your own piece of art. So say you can't find a piece of fabric that's just the right colour, shape, texture, you can put them all together and you can create your own. So you could make something that had this combination of handmade fabric in the centre and use the same prints around the outside. It's really incredible. But anyone who likes mixed media, textiles, likes to do textile art, say you want to, you like needle felting, you want to do some landscape pieces, then it's perfect for that. So but with this, we do have a special offer, as in that you get some extra items with this. You get, let me just take all the bits off it. You get this extension table, which is massive. So if you are really into your textiles, this fits onto the machine. Shall I just show you? Maybe you're doing a City and Guilds or a course, or you want to do teaching, or you just want to do big textiles. I presume that this comes off, and that goes on. And it has little legs, just little legs. So you pull the little legs out. But like if you with your sewing machines, look, it's just like, oh, I've got my legs caught. So look, that just gives you this massive extra sewing space. So say you want to creating a big wall hanging or a large piece of textile art. If you've got a big piece of fabric, obviously, for this price, if you were buying this for someone from somewhere else, you wouldn't get this extension table. So it's just like the same as if you're using a sewing machine. Yes, you don't need the extra, you can just have it hanging off. But the thing is with textile art, particularly with needle felting, you want the flat surface, you want to be able to see it, you want to be able to see where all the pieces are. So say you've created a larger piece and you've got lots of other smaller pieces of roving or felt or fabric on top, you can keep it all still. So with the extra extension table, anyway, that comes as part of the package. This isn't extra, this comes with it. Also, you get an extra pack of the 5 needles. Now remember, it does sound a bit dangerous, doesn't it, that you've got these 5 needles going at speed, but it does have a plastic protective cover here, so that you won't actually stab them into your hands, because they are like little barbs. They do have a point at the top, and then the barb is on the shaft. So they are super protective because the little thing licks. So there you are. If you get really close, you can see all those 5 needles. Yeah. We've only had it on the show once before, on the 25th, was it the 25th of October, when split pay was available? 28th. 25th, I was right, 25th of October. If you want to watch a full demo and see it in action, but it's, you all missed, we just sold out, we couldn't get enough in, because it's one of those things that you really want to own, but you think, oh, I can't really afford it all in one go. You're not having to, remember, split pay has got nothing to do with interest. We're not making any extra money. So if an item is £149 and over, it has to be one item, not your basket, then we will split it over 3 months in 3 equal payments. If you have an item over £799, it's split over 5 months, but that only really applies to the sort of the larger machines. We don't have much that's £799 and over. So if you've managed to get yours today, well done, because we haven't got that many left. But you know, we'll leave it with you. Have a think about it. If you do love textile art, and the mixed media and the whole creating your own designs, this is it's a piece of equipment that you can't do without it. It's a bit like a sewing machine. It's lovely. It's just fun. It's fun. It's fun. It is fun. Yeah, and you know, Delphine was like, oh, I don't want one of those. But for some reason, she can't have one until she moves house. Yes. And I wonder whether when she's moved house, I don't think there'll be any left. When she's moved house, that's it, really. She's having one. She's not having this one. So we'll let you know as we go through what the stock levels are like, because obviously but if you want to, if you're thinking about it, you're really tempted, go back on YouTube, watch the 25th of October show. You can see it in action. You can see it, how it works. And do remember the extension table. That makes a massive difference, because I know if you're a textile artist, you often create big pieces and you need that space. Right, next we're going to talk about guillotines. As you do. I love a guillotine. This is great. If you do a lot of fabric cutting, then this is really useful, because you know when you use your rotary cutting ruler, you really have to press, and particularly, I mean, when I cut, I always fold my fabric in half and then cut strips. You often find that it slips. I sort of cut my first bit with my rotary cutter, and then I move my hand there because it slips off. This is brilliant because you've got real weight on here with the guillotine, and then you've got the cutting blade in here. So all you have to do is press down. So if you struggle at all with the blade of a cutter with your hands, because you've got to hold it, if you're doing a lot of cutting, this is simply, you press the blade down and you run it along. It's exactly the same as a normal ruler. It's got all the measurements on there, and it's all in imperial. It's made by Fiskars, and we know that Fiskars is quality. Fiskars comes from originally the village in Finland called Fiskars, which sounds really weird, doesn't it? Because we all think of Fiskars as the name of scissors, but it is actually the name of a village in Finland. That's where it comes from. It's got a very, very long heritage. We know Fiskars and we trust them from their orange-handled scissors. But they all make other things. And did you know that the orange is actually trademarked? The specific shade of orange that they have on there. Because it's Fiskars orange, isn't it? So they've actually trademarked it, so you can't use it for anything else. Other than carrots. But you can't really trademark a carrot, can you? This is your normal 45mm blades, because you know rotary cutters come in 28, 45 and 60. So this is your average size one. But it's really good if you do a lot of cutting. If you struggle holding the weight of it down, it's very accurate. Should we show a little bit of cutting? I've got this little piece of fabric that I will be using for something later, so I'm not going to cut it all up. So I've got the table in the way now. So what we're going to do, we'll move that in a minute. Look, there we go. So you see this piece of fabric? I need to cut a strip of it, and it's really want that bit of. Always match up the crease with the top, but that's all wibbly now, isn't it? So, oh Andy, where's my glasses? Can't see now. So I can match up the mark on the inch mark on here. And on the bottom, on my cutting mat. So now it's marked here, it's marked there. And then you just, it will cut through. I mean, it will cut through. I don't think I've got right. Let me see. Oh, and I didn't get right through to the top. One moment. I should have angled that. I'll angle it through. So, you know, it cuts beautifully if you push it all the way to the top. So now look how easy that is. You've now got a lovely edge. So if we now need to cut, I'm not going to cut anymore. If you want to cut more, now what's good about it is that it says 2 here, and you think, well, normally the gap between there and there isn't 2, but what that means is that the gap between 2 and where you're cutting is 2 inch. So if you wanted to cut a 2.5 inch strip, you just line up 2.5 with that. Now it just gives that weight. I was cutting loads of strips the other night, and I had to sort of cut halfway, and then you have to move your hands to keep it. But this extra weight is really useful. And just after a while, if you're doing a lot of cutting, this is really, it's just easy because you just press it down and you cut easy. And it uses the normal 45mm blades that are inside. But it's a lovely piece, and it has a handle. It's quite handy, isn't it? So if you want to hang it on the wall out of the way, there it is. And it's safety as well, because the blade only works when you press down, and as soon as you release your hand, it's gone. So you can't cut yourself. That's lovely. Like that. Like that. Right, let's do next the circle one, because I like this. Now, this is really useful if you want to cut full circles or semicircles. Now, you can use these, say you wanted to make the base of a bag, you wanted to make some placemats, coasters, if you want to do circle applique or circle patchwork. Cutting circles is, yes, you can print out a template and draw around it, but I often find even if I pin the fabric, the paper template to the fabric, and you never cut it exactly. So normally what I do is I get the circle of paper and I draw around it onto the fabric a bit, but even then it's still not completely accurate, and it takes time as well. It's really time consuming. And you know, when they say draw around a dinner plate, we think, well, my dinner plates might be not the same size as your dinner plates. It might not be. So the way that this works, you can cut any diameter circle from 2 inches up to 12 inches. But the good thing about it is that these include your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you haven't got to add that on or think about it. So if you are making a placemat, you'll need that 1/4 inch to bind it. If you want to do some applique, you want circular applique on a quilt or circular patchwork, you will need that seam allowance, and it's all in there. So if you want to cut a whole circle, you fold your fabric in half, make sure it's nicely pressed, so you've got the fold along the bottom. Then you put this on top, and there's 2 lines on here. The one that's the solid line that says fabric fold line, it's the top line. You line that up on there. Below that is a dotted line. So if you're cutting just a semicircle, obviously the seam allowance, you don't need this because we're going to open it out in a bit. You don't need the seam allowance. But if you're doing a semicircle, you'll need the extra seam allowance. So they've even included that. So that arrow says fabric fold line, and that arrow says half circle seam allowance. So underneath, you've got these little grips that holds it really still. And also, there's 2 very, very slight lips. So you know when you're piecing something together and you press your seams to one side, and then when you join all those pieces together, what they call them nesting, you butt them up, because that's that very slight bump, and it just allows you to push one piece of fabric up against another. There's a very slight lip. So it's all been thought about it. But you remember I said to you at the beginning, Fiskars has been around for loads of years. I can't add up how many, but quite a lot of years. There's the lovely Fiskars scissors. We just know they are really good qualities, but they know about cutting. They know what they need. So you can, if you just do it very gently, you haven't really got to line it up. You can feel when it catches that tiny lip underneath. Then with this, you also get, wouldn't be much use without this. This is the magic circle cutting tool. So this stays nice and still, and it's a nice tray so you can hold it. You put the centre cross on there. Right. Take this off. Now this has got a special blade, which is an 18mm blade. It's not a blade that's used in a normal rotary cutter. It's made just for this. It's very safe because it's hidden inside. See, it's hidden. So it's very safe. That comes with this, by the way. You don't have to buy them separately. It comes with this. So say I wanted to cut a 6-inch diameter circle. I've lined up the centre. If it depends on, you know, if you want to know where the centre is, it doesn't really matter if you've got a plain piece of fabric like this, but it has got that centre mark. And then there are 2 little nodules, don't know what that name is, that stick out of there, which are also shown on the front by little marks. So there's the 6-inch line. See, it says 6, and that one goes all the way around there, and it says 6 there. You have to make sure those little nodules are in there. And you can either do that by lining up the little marks on the outside, or you can feel them in there. Once they're in there, you see, like, I haven't pressed it down yet. So if you want to be sure, because they've got to be in there, otherwise it won't cut properly. So just check it first. Then all you do is hold this flat and press this down with your hand. You can either hold it like that, or you can use the flat of your hands, up to you. And you just cut it all the way around without really thinking or making too much effort. Now this is where I go, da, 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 da. Look at that. I've now got a perfect, I'm going to move that to one side so you can see, 6-inch diameter circle. Well, it's not 6-inch, it's actually 6.5 inch, because it includes the 1/4 inch seam allowance. But it also means if you want to cut a circle out of fabric, because maybe you want to do some reverse applique, you could cut that circle out of your fabric. You could cut a slightly bigger circle from another colour fabric, like a cream, perhaps. And you could cut, I would cut like maybe an 8-inch circle. And then look how quick and simple. Now, I honestly, particularly for reverse applique, I don't think you could cut anything like as accurate that yourself. And it's really simple. Now, if you wanted to cut a semicircle, remember I said to you earlier about the seam allowance. So what you do for a semicircle is the bottom line, which also handily has that little lip. But you could draw around a plate. But it slides, it's not, you try cutting as accurate, it's not as accurate. And this is really, I mean, you go 2 inches to 12 inches, you couldn't use a rotary cut around a plate. And this is really easy. So what I've done now is because the 1/4 inch seam allowance is added onto the edge, you need to use this dotted line at the bottom to add it at the bottom. So should we cut, but you know, any bag base, like a wash bag or duffel bag, or, you know, when you get bags that have got, I think they're called duffel bags, the ones that have the circles on the ends. Perfect for that. Set of placemats, it goes up to 12 inches. Coasters, all sorts. Should we cut a 2-inch circle? So remember, say you wanted to make a rainbow. You could cut out, I'll show you. You can cut them out. Let's make sure that the little, they are in. So we'll cut out, ooh, you need to actually hold it still. Cut 2 inches. And then say we wanted to cut out, this is where you can get your hoops, another one. Oh, got to get it in. Make sure you put it in. That's right. Once it's in properly, you're fine. Oh, once it's in properly, she says. Oh, user error. Do you remember I said to you, make sure, run it round first to make sure it's in? Okay. Oh, and then top's falling off. So, that's how you cut out the semicircle. Now, you can actually change the blades quite easily. It explains in the instructions how to do it. Okay, so, oh, I haven't cut that one out very well at all. I'm not going to show that one. That's rubbish, isn't it? Do you remember I said to you right at the beginning, put your thing in first and make sure you're in the right place. I am going to do it again though. So I'm really annoyed that I haven't done that properly. Right, now it's in. Ha! Ha! So now look, there's your semicircle. So you've either, that one I did the others wrong, so I'm not going to show you that one. But you can cut out then hoops. So if I cut out the next one, so that was I think that was a 6-inch one. You could cut out the hoops, do lots of them. So it'd be brilliant if you wanted to applique a rainbow on something. You just put it, all the colours start at the beginning and all the way out. So it's just one of those pieces of equipment that really nothing else will do it as well. It's very specific, it only cuts circles, not a lot of good for triangles or squares, it really is only for circles, but it cuts beautiful circles. So just remember to do what I said to you, is make sure the nodules are in by shaking it a bit, and you will get a beautiful finish. Yes. Should I put this back in the box and someone will go, well, there's a nice piece of fabric, and then realise there's a circle cut out of it. I'm going to fold it that way so they don't know. Just put it back in the box. Right, as promised, a quick recap on the embellisher. We are in single figures. Quite a few of you have been very tempted by the needle felting and mixed media. And there are a few in baskets as well. So if you do want one, watch the YouTube on the 25th of October if you want to see it in action, and pop it in your basket. With this, even though it's very, very safe, it does actually come with a plastic cap on it as well, so it's even safer. And it's nice, it's like a little tray. But it's solid, it's quality, it's Fiskars. So it's obviously good. I'm going to do next the seam guides. There they are. So we have 2 seam guides here. I love these, a bit like your Fiskars cutter, circle cutter. It's one of those things that is really only used for one thing, but just does it perfectly. So there are 2 of these. I'm going to get my fabric out. So there are 2 of these. There are the 9-inch one and the 15-inch one. Okay, so the 15-inch one, here are the graphics for it, is £15.99. It's very, very limited because people obviously cut bigger squares. It's used in exactly the same way as the 9-inch, and that's the one I'm going to demonstrate because that's the piece of fabric that I cut out. So what you need, if you want to, this is what it's for. If you want to do a half square triangle, lots of us who love patchwork do half square triangles. Whether it's just a half square triangle you want, whether you're creating a flying geese pattern, whether you're turning them round, doing the pinwheel pattern, half square triangles are kind of your basic building block. After you've sewn squares together, your HST, half square triangle, is the next block. Now when you do a half square triangle, there are 3 ways of doing it. You can do 2, 4 or 8, and this is perfect for any of those. So if we wanted to do 2, for the 9-inch one, this is for half square triangle squares of up to 6.5 inches. That's the maximum it will do. So you just take one of the squares, I've put them right sides together, it doesn't matter at the moment, and you line up the outer corners. Let me move my hands, right? The points with the outer points. Now, you know with half square triangles, you sew 1/4 inch either side of the centre line. Now, normally when I do this, because I haven't actually got one of these. I really, really want one though. I'm going to have to check out and buy one. I'll turn it over because it is slightly grippy. You can't really see it, but it's got a real grip on this side, which holds it onto the fabric. So you line that up. Now, normally what I do is I draw a line down the centre and then I sew 1/4 inch either side of that. But that's not always that easy and not always accurate. So what I do is I draw 3 lines. I draw one down the centre and one either side, and that actually takes quite a long time. I made a rainbow quilt and it had 144 half square triangles. And I didn't own one of these. Oh, I wish I did. Yes, and it does look good. It does look good. I love my my thing. You have to look at my Instagram page. There's a picture of it on there. You can have a look, Hannah. There's a picture of it on there. Everyone have a look at my half square triangle quilt, and you see why I wanted one of these. So what you can do, there are lines down the middle. So if you want to draw the centre line for cutting, you can. I'm just using a heat erasable pen here, but you could use a pencil as well. Actually, I think you need a pencil for that one to get down. And then you just draw, hold it still, and it has got the slightly grippy bits. You just draw down one side. You don't even need to move it because it's gripping. And you sew down the other. Now, those are your sewing lines. The centre section, which actually you probably need a pencil for because the pen won't go into that. You need a finer pencil to go in there, but that's fine. So You then place that right sides together with another piece of fabric, and I haven't got the sewing. I was just saying I've got the sewing machine. I'll do it, but I haven't because that's the embellisher. So I've got no sewing machine. It's fine. What you do then is you sew down these lines and then you cut between them, open them out, and that's your half square triangle. But anyone who does a half square triangles would know how that works. So this is just a little piece of equipment that will make making half square triangles just so much easier. And if you're making 144 of them like I did, these are great. So you can get the 9-inch, which will do up to a 6.5-inch square, or you can get the 15-inch, which I think does up to a 10.5-inch square. But just great pieces of kit, because they are designed for one job and one job only, but they do it perfectly. Right, so let me just show you. We've got one lady asking, do I have to buy the cutter separately? Let me just show you when your parcel comes through the post with squeals of excitement, this is what it will look like. So you get the base piece all on a nice board, nice wrapped. Because on the website, it just shows the cutter. You don't, just the ruler part, which it only shows this part. It doesn't show all of it. So that's all it shows on the website. But honestly, when you get it, it includes the whole thing, the cutter, there it is, and the ruler and everything. So it's all on there. Not only that, on the back, it has full instructions. So it tells you exactly how you do it. It talks about using a cutter mat, that it's how you create a semicircle. God, I could not think of the word for it. It also shows you at the bottom how to remove the blade and replace it. So it's all there, everything you need. So that is what you get. Because I thought when I first saw it, so you use a rotary cutter for that, but no, you have this special tool. So there we go, that's what you get. Right, I've got a message from Susie. What does Susie? I've just purchased the embellisher. I'm so excited about using this applique on quilts. Love the show. Well, thank you, Susie. I would be very excited as well. I think it's fantastic for that. We should have, this show should be called Gadgets that are only useful for one thing, but do them brilliantly. It's not very catchy, that title though, is it? But this is what it's for. So I'm going to show you next, because I like this one as well. This is the Creative Grids Roundup tool, which looks like a... Look, this does more than one job, but it does it beautifully. So I'm going to just lay my piece of green fabric, the one without the hole in the centre, on here, because you can't see it very well. There we go, look. This is sort of multi-purpose, but not completely. It won't do everything. It'll only do the things that you want it to do. It will only do a few things. So it is perfect. Most people think of it as if you want to make placemats. Keep going. There we go. That's 180. God dear. It's a circle, I can understand that. It's really good for cutting corners off things. So say you're making a placemat. This is a multi-purpose piece of fabric today, isn't it? You line up, so you've got a rectangular fabric or a square of fabric, okay? So you line up the edges and the edges and the edges, and then you get a rotary cutter, look at that, as if by magic. It's got scrippy bits on the bottom as well. It's got dots, and what I like, it's got it all the way around the edge, but it's also got it around the edge of the shapes, so it really holds it still. Okay, I'll put it back now. So there we go. You line up the top and the bottom. So say you just want to, you know when it says cut the corners, like making an apron, cut the corners, put a plate on it, and you think, well, you don't know. What I do when I have to do a plate is I have to measure from the corner in and then from the corner, so I make sure my plate's at the same place. But with this, it will cut it beautifully. So you just place it on, hold it nice and still. Look at that. Look at that. Now, what if you want the curve to be deeper? Right? But you know when you make a quilt, it doesn't have to have square edges. A curved edge looks very lovely. Let's make them. Look, that's lovely. It is nice that you get the grips all over, but you can also use it. So that's one use that you can use it for making beautiful curved edges. You can also use it for cutting petal shapes, should you want to, for applique. So, I have to get this. I want to turn the fabric round. You've got to get it round the right way because it's a bit like rotary cutting, isn't it? You've got to get it round the right way. So I still got it round the wrong way. There we go. So say I want to cut, I'll just line that up. So I want to, because you need to be cutting that way if you're right-handed. You cut round here. Just take it slowly. You get better at this. It's a bit like normal rotary cutting. And then you do it the other way. Line up the points of where you cut, which is there and there. And now I'm going to be cutting backwards. I'm not going to do that because I hate cutting. You shouldn't cut backwards anyway. It's really dangerous. A bit of mumbling because I'm cutting backwards. Well, you know when you sort of think, oh, I can cut backwards, it'll be fine, but it's really silly. Don't cut backwards. I think this blade is not very sharp. So I'm going to have to cut that bit because the blade's not sharp enough. But you get the idea. So you can cut a petal shape, and that's that one, which is got a 4-inch radius, and then there's an even bigger petal here, so you can use it for that. You can also use it, I need another corner. You can use it for a drunkard's path. So you know with drunkard's path where you have a wedge sewn into a circle. I need to have a picture of one so you can see. I'll show you what I mean and I'll find a picture. But it's a style of patchwork where you have part of a circle sewn into a square, but you can use it for cutting those as well. It will cut, if you are cutting squares and cutting pieces out, it will cut. One size is a 4-inch square, which is this one. So you can cut that out. And then what you do is you sew the other piece in to make it a drunkard's path. But it will, that's the size if you want to cut that, but it will also, the other size here is a 5-inch square. So basically, if you, oh, she's found me images of drunkard's path, so you know what I'm talking about now. Yeah? So this is perfect for that, where you need to, and there's like, yeah, it's a lovely form of patchwork, but you can use it for cutting these out. You create the drunkard's path block, and then depending on how you join it together is what the finished pattern looks like. So this is designed for 4 and 5-inch so you can use it for rounding off corners of anything, which I think for me would be the most useful thing, because it's quite hard rounding off corners and getting them accurate, and because it's got the lines on. You can use it for cutting out petal shapes or using them as sunflowers. If you cut like 20 of these large ones in yellow, you can make the most beautiful applique sunflower. You could then use your viscose circle cutter to cut the centre of the sunflower out. Done. Bit of Bonder web on the back. Sunflower quilt. Lovely. Lovely. So you can use it for petals or flowers. You can also use it for cutting complete circles if you want to, because you can just keep moving it round. You can use it for the drunkard's path, but it is one of those tools that is extremely useful, and the only thing that does the job, yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those little tools. It's got a hold, hang it up. That when you've got it, you'll think, I know I've got that. It's also got little holes in it, so you can put your pencil in to mark it to get it in just the right place as well. Can't really see it very well on there. Anyway, so that is that one. Let's do applique scissors. I like applique scissors. The other name for them is duck-billed scissors. Funnily enough. Right. So this is if you want to, if you're doing applique and you need to cut very close to where you've sewn something on, you can slide the blade underneath the fabric I need to have a bit of a plique to show this, but you can slide the blade under. So Delphine tomorrow is back in again, hooray! And she's doing a plique, so I'm sure she could talk to you about that. But they look very unusual, but they just mean that you can lie them flat and you can cut extremely close. If you wanted, say you were doing not just a plique, but say in dressmaking, you need to, you know, it says grade your seam allowances. You want to cut one or both, and you want to cut, but you need to get very, very close to the fabric. This flat edge allows you to do that because it lies flat. So say you wanted to just trim off. Can you see on this background? Say I wanted to trim off, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. And she can lie it down. It's because you've got this flat surface to hold it against, it trims it much better. But again, so it's used for grading seam allowances, trimming seam allowance, or a plique. But one of those products that only does one thing but is brilliant at it. We should all aim for that. I'm aiming for that. Rather than just doing loads and loads of crafts and hopping about, maybe I should just do one. But no, I don't think many of us crafters do. Now, I'd like to demonstrate these pinking shears for you. Because I don't really, this is painful though. I hope these aren't fabric scissors because I've got to cut this thing. Look guys, these are not fabric scissors. It pains. They're not fabric scissors because I can't use them for cutting that plastic. Pinking shears. Again, only used for one thing, but does it brilliantly. It's a new name of the show. Pinking shears are cut a zigzag edge, as demonstrated. It looks like a crocodile. See? You might think of them as using them in school to cut paper and cardboard. Let me move the fabric in, but they do have a use. So when fabric is, I'm going to cut and so you can see what it looks like. Cut. If you want it to be a perfect cut, say you're using it for decorative, open up the shears and match up that blade. If it doesn't matter, because you're cutting a seam allowance, just cut and cut and cut. But if you want it, if it's a decorative edge, then do match up the notch of the blade, otherwise you'll get half of one. Right, when fabric is woven, you have the warp going one way and the weft going the other. And I can't remember which is which, but it doesn't really matter. The warp goes vertically and the weft goes horizontally, okay? When you go diagonally, that's on the bias, and when you cut diagonally, it will stabilise that. So what's happening is you're cutting diagonally into the warp and the weft, which stabilises it and stops it from fraying. So for me, this is why I use them. I use them in all my dressmaking, and I cannot be bothered to finish a seam allowance. A, because I'm too lazy to, and I want to get on with making the best thing, and B, it uses up loads and loads of thread, and I don't have an overlocker, so I can't be bothered to finish off a seam allowance, but I know you need to because otherwise they fray, so I just use pinking shears. And if you look and you see any vintage dresses, if you buy yourself a dress in one of these vintage shops, you will always see that the seam allowances are pinked, and it's just a really quick way of cutting it. If you've got very bulky fabric and you need to grade your seam allowance, by doing this it takes bulk out. So immediately, if I'd cut that as a straight edge, or if I'd finished it, if I'd overlocked it or something, you are adding bulk. So if you've got a very fine fabric, this reduces the bulk. So the best thing about it is it stops it fraying. Obviously you can use it as a decorative finish. So maybe you wanted to have a fabric label onto something, you could cut it with this lovely pinked edge. But often people use it, say you want to make bunting. You could buy outdoor bunting, okay? You buy oilcloth fabric, you trim all the edges with pinking shears and you get a lovely finish. But normal bunting, maybe you've got to make 50 metres of bunting for the village fete or something, and you don't want to be doing it where you make complete triangles, sewing them right sides together. You actually just want finish, but it will stop it fraying. So let me take this. Look, here's my lovely new fabric label. Gift tags. Cut that out. glue it to a piece of card, write the name on it. Lovely. So let's see. So it's not, I mean, obviously if I keep doing it, it will, but there is an element of frayage, but it's not like it would, and that's what pinking shears. But they are also brilliant, and the only way to really reduce bulk in a seam is because you are taking out, because you know when you have to cut a seam down and they say notch the seam to reduce the bulk in the seam allowance, this is what these do. I use them, I mainly use them for dressmaking for my seam allowances. So another brilliant tool that does just one thing brilliantly. Oh, I just want to recap the cream bundle. The ultimate cream bundle. Now, if you were with me at 8 o'clock this morning, you'll have seen me talking about it then. Well done if you already got yours, but it's been ever so popular. We haven't got many left. We've only got less than 20, but I just wanted to show anyone who just joined us and wasn't here earlier. This is 5 half meters of beautiful cream fabric in an array of shades and tonal prints. So you start off with the plain cream. It's not your deep yellow cream. It's more of an ivory cream. You then move on to this one, which is a similar background shade, but it's got a white all over sort of speckled print, which just gives some texture to it. It's not real texture, but some visual texture to it. You then move on to this lovely, like vanilla, thick jersey cream, that one is. Then this one's got a lovely cream, more of a beigey cream with a darker beige in the background. And then this one is a pale, like an ivory cream with a darker ivory in the background. So if you want a bundle of 5 creams, it's not always easy to get all of those. If you want to have some basic creams for your stash, because at the moment building your stash is a really good thing because we are going to have a lot of time to craft. So we are going to have a lot of time to craft. So build up your stash if you can't get to the shops. Often you can't get all of these. These are perfect for teaming. I mean, a lot of shops just don't have the room to stock all of these different shades and types, but these are all the creams that we do. They're really good for teaming with rainbows and brights and darks, or make your whole quilt from them. It will have a real classy, sophisticated look. Oh, and we've got some new thread. They're just telling me. So this is a fantastic set of, remember there are 5 half meters in this bundle. It's all the shades of cream you'll ever need. Now, Metler. This is silk finish Metler thread. Now, silk finish Metler thread is actually 100% cotton thread, but it has a silk finish, which means that the thread, I wonder if we can should we take one out? I need a pair of scissors because they're sellotaped. I don't want to ruin them. This Metler thread is silk finish. It's actually 100% cotton thread, but it's mercerized, which is a chemical process that's used on a lot of cotton thread and fabric. And mercerization is a process that makes thread or fabric, whatever you do it to, stronger, more durable, and with a luster. And that's why they call this a silk finish, because it has a luster to it. It has a shine. It stops it shrinking. It also, mercerization allows the thread or the fabric to take dye in better. It absorbs the dye better. So if you have a mercerized thread, you will find it has a much bolder, stronger dye. It's not like shiny, shiny, shiny. It's a slight luster, but it will also be stronger as well. So these silk finish threads, they are 100% Egyptian cotton. So if you want to use an Egyptian cotton thread and a really good quality, but you don't want the matte look, this silk finish is perfect for you. Now, you can see on each reel we have got, I think it is, let me double check, 150 meters. 150 meters on each reel. So it's a 50 weight thread, which is your basic standard thread that you use for normal seams, dressmaking, quilting, piecing, just your normal weight sewing thread, and so it's 50. So you can use this for anything and everything. This will fit into your sewing machine. You can use it by hand. It's not your thick, thin, it's your average thread. So in this bundle, I wonder if I've missed them in the autumn pack. It's got autumn colours. So doesn't it look lovely with the cream bundle? Let's take them all out. So if we start at the beginning, so the leaves are green, yeah. Then they sort of go yellow, and then they go orange, and then they go a deep orange, then they go burnt orange, then they go deep red, and then they start to rot, and then they go brown. So that's the whole stage of the leaf cycle. It's lovely, isn't it? But anyway, if you're doing any sewing at this time of year, these are the perfect colours for any of your things. It is a beautiful thread. It's really, really good quality, but you could use them for Christmas breaks because you've got your red and your green. But it's quite nice because I know a lot of people who are sewing with cotton fabrics like to use a cotton thread, and because of the mercerisation, this just has that little extra special lustrous touch. Okay, we just want to do the early bird. It was a special that was given to me this morning on the early bird at 8 o'clock if you were here, to celebrate the launch of Yarn Lane. Have I mentioned Yarn Lane? Have I mentioned Yarn Lane at all? So Yarn Lane's our brand new channel, which I'm really excited about, that's launching at 12 o'clock. Now, although it's a brand new channel, it's on the same channel as Sewing Street, but we're not taking any hours away from Sewing Street, it's just after. So normally we finish at 12 o'clock, but from today, the Yarn Lane will be on from 12 to 1. To start off with, we're just going to be on three days a week, but we are going to build and build and build. So today, Yarn Lane is all about, funnily enough, yarn. So mainly knitting and crochet, which you'll love, but other yarn related crafts. Because have you seen needle punching and latch hooks and macrame and all those other beautiful yarn crafts? So the aim of the channel is we want to teach you. We want to teach you how to do yarn crafts that you might have seen but not tried before. But if you can already do them, we're going to inspire you. We're going to show you what else you can do. We're going to bring you kits, products, tools, gadgets. I've had such fun looking at yarn gadgets. All the stuff that you need for yarn crafts. Or if you've seen crochet and you want to have a go and you think, oh, I'd really like to have a go at that. Today is the day for you. We've got Helen from Woolly Chic, who's already here, and she is going to teach you how to crochet. She's got some fantastic kits for learning to crochet today. But because we're the same channel, you know, we have this thing, £3.95 postage. You only pay it once. You only pay it once, don't you, over the whole day? Because we're together, if you buy something on Sewing Street, that one £3.95 will also apply to Yarn Lane. So it's just one P&P across both channels. So the early bird today is the yarn bag. Obviously, you can use it for sewing equipment, you can use it for tools, you can use it for makeup, lots of makeup, hairbrushes, really good for all sorts of things. So in my yarn bag, you don't get this by the way, I've got a massive ball of yarn and another massive ball of yarn. It has a front pocket in it which is suitable for up to it's 39 centimetres long this, but it is suitable for 35 centimetre needles. The brilliant thing about it, if you're using it for not just needles, but anything really, is the pocket goes all the way around to the bottom, so it's really big and deep. The bag is in this lovely herringbone black and white effect. It's slightly padded, but it's beautifully made, because if I show the inside, I always have a look at the inside. It's like having a look at the back of someone's stitching, isn't it? It's bound. It's bound on the inside, so it's all neat. It's not just rubbish on the inside. It's got really strong handles, and it's padded. It's like a very slight, not like a wadding, but a very slight soft foam. So great for any of your craft makes, or brilliant for your PE kit, your sports shoes, for your gym gear. But, you know, if you're going to be starting all these new projects, if you're going to be learning how to crochet and knit and macrame and everything, you do need a project bag. Great present, though, because it's kind of unisex. You can, you know, buy it for anybody. I'm just going to put my wool back so I don't lose it. This is lovely. Watch in a couple of weeks. We're going to be doing a project with this. Sneak peek, sneak peek. So... oh my lord, it's nearly 11 o'clock. Right, so Delphine is back with me in just a few minutes' time. Brand new collection. from Henry Glass. If you know Henry Glass fabrics, you will know what amazing quality they are. Beautifully soft. And we've got 2 panels and lots of different fabrics that we're selling by the half metre. It's all going on pre-order. This panel makes this beautiful book, and this is what Delphine is going to be showing us how to make in a moment. But we've also got all the other fabrics. So if you like pets and you love pets, look at those. You can use this panel for making book, but many other things as well. You can just use it for making quilt. It's even got hamsters on it. So all of this fabric features all of your favourite pets, and Delphine is going to be showing us how to make this beautiful fabric book as well. So I will see you in a couple of minutes for Delphine's last show of the day. Okay, bye-bye. We are so excited for the launch of Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn. We'll be bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests, as well as all the latest tools and gadgets. Watch our launch show on Monday the 2nd of November at 12 p.m. on Freeview Channel 74, Sky Channel 670 or our YouTube channel, when Helen from Woolly Chic will be teaching you how to crochet. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Yarn Lane TV and subscribe to our email newsletter to keep up to date with what's coming up.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on Channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Helen from Woolly Chic. I design knitting and crochet patterns and also teach crochet in Hitchin, Hertfordshire, where I live. My mum taught me to knit and crochet when I was a teenager, but it wasn't until my children were little that I picked up a crochet hook again and literally became hooked, and I haven't stopped crocheting and now knitting ever since. I began designing about 8 years ago and started selling my patterns as part of kits, putting together my designs with British wool, some of which comes from my family's sheep farmed in Pembrokeshire, Wales. I love the fact that with a simple fibre like wool, you can create something really beautiful and unique. Like garments or handmade accessories, cushions, blankets. Yeah, the possibilities are limitless. I'm also passionate about teaching crochet and passing on the skills that I have learnt. I'm really looking forward to being part of Yarn Lane TV and sharing some tips and tricks with you, and I really hope that you enjoy watching.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Welcome back to Sewing Street, and we've got Delphine back again, and some beautiful fabrics. They're brand new to us today. I was having a look at them earlier. Oh, they are so sweet. So we've got quite a big choice of different ones, all in the same range. So I'm going to go through it with you one by one so you understand. So to start with, we are making this book, which I showed you just at the end of the last hour. All the pieces you need are on the panel. So we should have a little look through. Have a look through. There we go. So there's the graphics. £9.99 for the panel. There is no delay on these panels. We already have all of these in stock. These will be sent out absolutely normally. So £9.99 for the panel, and you get to make this whole book. We're not selling this panel in a bundle. We've got various sort of mega bundles and different things, but if you want the panel, you have to buy it just on its own. So it's the only way to get this one. So look at this one. You've got scaly sweeties that are snakes. And this one's Cat's Perfect Pals. So you can use it. It's lovely. What a lovely Christmas present. You know, for a new baby, there's no extra piece, just thread, fabric and wadding. You know, if you've got somebody, a grandchild or something, who's just starting to learn to read, and it's just so pretty, you can teach them as they look through. It's such a lovely thing to own. Really nice. I used to love fabric books, and my children always had fabric books. It's really pretty, isn't it? You've got a hamster, look, running around the wheel, and a little hedgehog. Nice to have a pet hedgehog. And I don't know what that is. Is that a ferret? A ferret in a sling. And then you've got the... Is that a ferret in there? I'm asking Delphine. Does she know about ferrets? I don't know what that is. Anybody know what it is? I've no idea. And you've got a Great Dane with the Yorkshire Terrier on top. And then you've got two budgies and a goldfish. I love the tortoises. Every pet needs a home. Rescued is my favourite breed. Oh, that's I can't remember. What's that one? No, that's not a sausage dog. No, I've seen them before. I can't think what those are called. That must be a golden retriever. I've seen those. Somebody, when I walk my dog, always has one of them, and I can't remember what they're called. You've got a mouse and a hamster in another hammock, and another mouse, and then two dogs, and a big fat cat, and finally the rabbits on the back. So this covers whatever pets you've got. This will cover all of them. So this is the panel that we're going to be showing you today that makes the book. And it's the only way. You have to buy the panel on its own. It won't be available in the bundles at all. Now, here's the panel. Let me open it all up so you can see. It's £9.99. It's very big, isn't it? But at the bottom, it shows you how to make the book. So for £9.99, you get the whole thing with all of the instructions of how to make it. Oh, at the bottom. I'll just pull them up. There you go. You can see them now. All the instructions are there across the bottom of how to make it. But you know, you don't have to use it to make a book if you don't want. They make nice placemats. We could cut them out as little quilt squares. You know, I know that you often see these things, think, oh, I've got to do what it says, but you don't. If you wanted to make a quilt square, you could cut each one out, join them all together, because there's enough space around them to cut them out with a 1/4 inch seam allowance outside the red check. Join them together with some sashing and bind it, quilt it. You've got a really nice, really fun pet wall hanging. Now, obviously, to make this, you're going to need some wadding. So we've got this really, really good 80/20 80-20 wadding, which means it's 80% cotton, 20% polyester. The reason that it's the cotton polyester mix is that everybody loves a cotton wadding because it's natural, it's soft, it feels nice. But the 20% polyester just gives it that bit of extra strength and durability. Now this is available by the ½ metre. If you want to, it's very wide, it's 244 centimetres wide. If you want to make the book, you only need ½ metre, because although it's not as long as the panel, you've got enough to make this, so you only need ½ metre. This is incredibly good value. If we're not even talking about the book now, this is, if you wanting wadding for a quilt, because it's so wide, what's 244 centimetres in inches? Hannah will work that out for me in a minute, because some of you, if you make your quilts in inches, you need to know that. So it's wide enough to use as one piece of quilt, because nobody wants to join wadding for a quilt. That's 96 inches wide, which is pretty much, it'd be unusual if you made a quilt wider than that. Anyway, it's available as a ½ metre. If you want more than that, you just put the units in your basket. If you want 3 metres, write 6, because that's 6 lots of ½ metres. You want 2½ metres, write 5. You will only need ½ metre to make this book, but it is a lovely quality. It's not really thick, it's not really thin. It will just gives your finish, makes a bit of softness. But say you want to make cushions, or you're making bags and you want to add a bit. You know, I always have, as well as basic sort of coloured fabrics, I usually have about 1 metre of wadding around, because I like to put them in certain parts, not maybe the whole bag, but just maybe the base of the bag. If you've made a patchwork cushion, it's nice to put a bit of extra on there. So that's the panel. Delphine is now going to show us how to make it. Good morning again, Delphine.
Hello.
Welcome back, welcome back. Good to be back. So where did you start? Did you follow the instructions?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
I did. They were just so simple. So what I do is I actually cut the bottom strip off.
Oh, okay.
And all it asks you to do is cut round every... Again, well, the one thing I love about the instructions is that they're to the point. There's no too much terminology or anything like that. So it's a perfect beginner's project.
Oh, okay.
So I cut the instructions off with one big strip. There we are. That's all it is. There's your instructions. So there we are. Let me put it the right side.
Okay, so you can just follow those first.
It's a bit creased. Yeah. So yeah, so I have, again, with anything, always read your instructions first. Never go straight ahead, because you never know when you think you're going to know it, but then you get tripped up, don't you? So,
yeah. So it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Oh, it says 1 yard of medium weight flat blatting.
Yeah, just to the point.
And 1/4 inch. Oh, well, that's quite nice. That makes it easier, doesn't it? So do you need any other fabric for this?
Nope, nothing at all.
Just saying that, we have got some more of this fabric. We'll just go through that.
Okie doke.
Just suddenly remembered reading. Do we need any more fabric? If you like the panel and the design, you'll love the fabric. Right, so you can buy all of this as one whole bundle. Oh, hang on, my ears are falling off. Can't hear again. Oh, that's better. Okay. So in this bundle, you get a panel, which is this one. It's not the same panel as the book panel. It's a different one. But it's a shop. It's a pet shop. So it's a wall hanging, isn't it? If I pull it there, let me move this out of the way. Okay. So it's a pet shop. And on the top floor, you would back this with some fabric and quilt it and hang it up. It's lovely, isn't it? So you've got snakes at the top, moves all the way down to all the different animals in the pet shop, with the big dogs at the bottom and the cats outside. So this is in the bundle. Oh, that's better. Or this panel you can buy on its own for £9.99. So you can either buy this panel in the bundle if you want, we'll show you that in a minute, or if you want just this panel that's the pet shop, it's £9.99. Okay? Right, this is everything that you now get in the mega bundle. There's the all the pets as a border print. Brilliant for adding to the brilliant for adding to the bottom of things, out along the bottom of a quilt. You could use them, cut along it and make little bags, decorate, you know, brilliant for your dog bags. This is all in the bundle. Then, this has definitely got a right way up to it. There's this fabric as well, is in the bundle. This features all of the prints, so it's a really nice zigzag check print, and it's got all of the different animals. Look, you can see that there's the little guinea pig's face, and there's the snake and part of the fish. So it's all of the animals, and they are beautiful illustrations. They're very, very clear, very clean, crisp print. But if you love pets and animals, you will love that. Right, which one shall I show? I'm gonna have to show you my favourite, which ones I like. This print here has got a white grey background, and it's got paw prints all over it, and again a lot of the animals are featured. It's really lovely. What I like about this is you've got some of them are in black and white but with little coloured elements. So the black and white hedgehog has got brown shoes on, or maybe brown, yeah, I think so. And then that dog, part of it's coloured in, and then you get the really bright one so that the fish really shines out as well. We've then got this one that's got a red check background to it, featuring all of the dogs. Kisses, family, home, companion. That's lovely. So that one is just dogs and cats on that print, with the odd mouse here and there. Basset hound. That's what it is. Remembered now. No, I think that is a basset hound. If you've got a basset hound, can you just email me in and let me know? Can you let me know whether that's a basset hound or not? Because I'm sure. No, I think that's a golden retriever, that one. But this one is in the bundle, exactly the same. This is a blue check background with the cats and the dogs. This is I'm still going through the bundle, but these are also available by the half metre, which on pre-order, which you will find them on the website. I'll show you in just a minute. We've got another sort of low volume print. So if you wanted to make a quilt with these, but just wanted to have some different weights of print. So we've got some big prints and fun ones. And then this one that's just got hearts and little paw prints, including claw prints and bird footprints. So it's all animals' feet. I wonder if it's got a name. Has this one got a name? I hope it's called Animal Feet. We've got exactly the same one here, but this has a sort of a yellowy lime green background to it. This is all in this one bundle for $83.99. This one, lovely red background, but when you look at it, it is exactly the same as this white print, but just all in one colour. So these go beautifully together. So anything that you want to make for, if you love animals or you want to make for an animal lover, these are perfect because they've just got a bit of fun in them as well. There's so much. I'm still going through this bundle. This is all the words print. It's got all the text that you need, all about animals. Life is sweeter with the pet. You could use all of these. You could use all of these to cut out and sew onto things. Animals do speak, but only to those who know how to listen. Well, they do speak. They bark. Second-hand animals make first-class pets. Oh, this is lovely. Honestly, anyone who loves pets are going to love these. And then we've also got the same print, but with a blue background. Okay? So this is the mega bundle, $83.99. You get 4.5 meters in total of fabric. So that means you get 8 fabrics and the pet shop panel and the border, including the border prints as well, all in here. So that's 4.5 meters of fabric in total. Now, when you look through these, now I'm folding them back up, if you like any of these by the half metre, have a look on the website, and they're all on there. Click on Watch Live, so go on sewingstreet.com, click on Watch Live and scroll down. And can you see the bit on the right that says pre-order? Just click on that, and there they all are. we will put these on the main thing later, but we just wanted to do the demo now so that you can see how to make the book and how lovely the fabric is. Because remember, the book panel, because we're doing that as a special extra, is the only one that's not in the mega bundle. Right, Delphine. Sorry, I interrupted
No,
to talk about fabric. So we got the instructions.
Yes.
We cut them out.
So yes, so you've got so there's 6 pages of the book. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, okay. So there's 6 panels. You need to cut round all the way around the black edge using a rotary cutter or a pair of scissors. You have got your instructions, so just have a quick read through them first. So all it says is cut out all pre-printed pieces on the outer lines, which we've done. And then all you need to do is cut out a piece of batting the same size. So I've used the 80-20 that we just showed you earlier. Then to start with, you pin page 1 to 10 to the book cover with right sides together and based. Now you know that it's the book cover because it is slightly bigger. Only ever so slightly bigger than the rest of the panel. So all you do, so as you can see here, I've actually cut my piece of batting just slightly wider than the book cover. So again, nothing too tidy. I haven't measured it or anything. I'd say that's about 1/2 inch all the way around because I don't like wasting anything. So as the instructions have said, I've got my book cover here. There's my cover. Here's pages 1 to 10. So you're going to put that right sides together like that. Now you can pin, especially if this is really a good project for you if you're new to sewing. Or if you want to do this with children, I think this is a really nice one to do with kids because it's basically just sewn in a straight line. And then give it a quick press, make sure it's all nice and flat. Now what you're going to do is you're going to sew all the way around, but you're going to leave a little gap open. So if you leave a little gap open in the middle, say here, that's just going to be easier for you to turn it the right way, the right sides out. So you can put a little pin either side to give you a bit of a reminder to stop, but I'm just going to go by eye today. So I'm going to go straight to the machine and I'm going to go start from here and I'm going to go all the way around and stop, leaving a little gap at the bottom. And you'll do that for the other 2 pages, but I'll show you that when we come round to doing that. So I'm going to go straight to the machine. If you have got a walking foot on your machine, I recommend that you put that on, but it's no biggie if you haven't got one. I am a huge fan of the walking foot. Only because if you're working through lots of layers, it just makes sure that everything moves at the same time. So again, just have a little back stitch. And then try and get all of the layers. You can have a quick check and move things around. If you're doing this at home, you'll take more time and pin it to make sure that you're going to get all the layers. Stop at the corners, needle down, pivot, turn it around. And then carry on. Line up as you go. Near the ends, needle down, lift it up, turn it around. And would you look at that? I've already run out of bobbin thread already.
You've run out?
I have, yeah.
And that actually happened to me last week.
It always happens to me.
Exactly the same.
Well, luckily, I didn't go all the way around. Have you ever done a whole project where you've just been in your world of your own and you realise that you've been doing a quilt and you get to the very end and you think...
Well, we were having this
this
discussion last week because I say my machine actually beeps when the bobbin's empty. But,
fancy.
But only if it's empty,
Must
because I'm a bit rubbish that you know you're not supposed to put more than one colour on, are you supposed to just have one? I never do, I have about 10 colours on mine. So it only beeps when it's empty, so if I've got another colour underneath and I've run out of the one I'm using, it doesn't beep then.
Oh no.
So it only beeps when it's actually, and it won't let you sew.
Empty.
If it's empty, it won't let you carry on sewing.
So mine doesn't
But
do that.
but if you've got one colour on top of another, then it does let you keep on sewing.
Keep on going.
That's so annoying, isn't it? Particularly, I was doing something the other day where I pinned lots of things and it was quite tight.
And you had to do it all again.
And it had to be all just right and perfect. 'Cause I think I must have been
Nightmare.
doing some curves or something. And to have to re-pin all of that, most depressing.
But you know, just shows how quickly that you can re-thread the bobbin on the,
I know, well done, well done.
on the Elna 550. Well done, Elna. Okay, so I'll just quickly do that now. No, I think I did it the other day doing a quilt. I was doing a large quilt, doing the binding. So you're pulling it quite tight, aren't you, when you're doing the binding? I didn't even notice. I'd even done the mitered corners. So I don't know how I managed to do the corners.
Really?
And Oh, you know when you just sit back and you're just completely defeated. You're like, oh, and then it's like.
Do you ever do that thing when you know you're nearly about to run out of thread, so
Oh.
you just go, I'll go really fast?
Yeah.
it was just completely
You can
ridiculous,
see it. It's
isn't
already
it?
left the spool.
Yeah, and you think if I just go really fast, it'll be fine. Well, clearly not.
You play
But
roulette with
it's
it.
that sort of.
Oh.
It's a bit like when you're hand sewing and you think I really need to stop and start a new thread
And
here.
you're trying to pull it as
Yeah,
hard
because
as you
I'm
can.
not going to be able to sew the end in and over sew it, but you just don't want to start a new one. You think I should have just done that 5 minutes ago and it would have been better. Oh, I'd always do that. So fast.
We all have our own little.
Yes.
Yeah, but when you run out of bobbin thread, I always say to myself that I'm just going to sit there and just wind a load of bobbins up, but I've never done it yet. Never done it.
Do you think anybody does?
Sorry?
Do you think anybody actually does?
It'd be interesting to see if anyone out there that actually got
Well,
a
you
whole...
can get those little bobbin pins, can't you, that you put, it's like a plastic foil
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
and then you put the bobbin on top of the reel of thread.
No.
I haven't got enough bobbins.
I haven't got enough time.
I just haven't got, I think I've only got about 10 bobbins that came with my machine. And I keep thinking, let's buy some more bobbins, and then I won't have to keep putting one colour on top whenever.
I'll have to teach the boys how to do the bobbin on my machine and get the boys to do
That's
it.
a very good idea.
Only because they're always wanting to press the pedal.
Yeah, well they can.
So they can. You can wind up my bobbins.
I know, I'm really precious about my machine. I always just go, oh, can I use it? Go, no,
Yeah,
I
I'm
actually
the
can't.
same.
Actually can't. Because I'm quite precious about it.
But it's an extension of you, isn't it, your machine?
Well, particularly when I got a new one, I just thought, oh, it's just not worth risking
No.
them messing about. It's all right, I suppose, if I'm sitting with them, but they just wanted to go, can I use it? No, not without me.
But no, my machine.
This is very, very important to me.
So when I changed, especially when I got my new machine a year or so ago, I'm very precious about it. But she just purrs at me now. She just sits back, especially when I'm doing free motion or anything like that. She's like, you just sit there, Darphine, let me do all the work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to do them all in all three, so I don't keep stopping and starting. So I'm going to go and do the next one.
So you sew it together all the way round and you leave a turning gap?
Yeah, so I'm leaving a turning gap. Yeah, make sure you back stitch at the start and stop at the gap, so you don't lose your stitches. You don't want to redo all that work.
Oh, okay.
And there was something else I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh. Yeah, having the needle down when you turn is a lot easier. Oh, I do like it when you just put your foot to the floor and it just goes.
This is a nice, it is a nice easy. But this panel would be good to give to somebody who hadn't done a lot of sewing before. It's really a really good way
A confidence
sewing
builder.
straight.
Yeah,
Because what I would suggest, if you've not used a machine before and you want to do this, maybe you've got a child who wants to learn, draw the seam allowance on for them.
Yeah.
They can then sew along it, and then after a while they will have really got used to it, won't they?
Yeah, and it's a good one to build up a bit of confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just seeing them as like little mini quilts. Well, the one good thing about this project, it's not just making the book, but this is an idea how you'd bag out a quilt.
Yes, just true.
Or when you put in cushions together.
Well, it's nice, isn't it? Sometimes you don't want to start with something big, or you haven't got the time for it. It's nice to have some little projects that are quite easy, and because this panel is all pre-printed and it comes with instructions, it's quite an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah. And the fabric's lovely. We were saying earlier, weren't we?
It is
Just
really
how
soft. It's
the
because it's
fabric
Henry
is.
Glass. Henry Glass fabric is always really, really soft. I don't know what they do, whether they use a slightly different cotton. I mean, it's it's the same weight. I'm going to fold that back up.
Lovely to sew
It's the
with.
same weight as your ordinary quilting cotton, but it is very soft. I quite like the background on this as well.
Yeah,
like a
the little check, yeah. And it's also, because it is so soft, it doesn't really crease.
And there's bits around the edge. You could use these bits. I'd
Yeah.
keep them.
I
Quite
use
decent
those when I've
size.
done some of the other panels that I've had. You just keep them and you can use them as like scrappy binding, couldn't you? I'm just making sure I'm doing these pages the right way around. You don't want to put them all together and realise
Well,
I've
the
got a page
pages
upside
have got
down.
numbers on. I mean, I
Yes.
guess it wouldn't really matter other than the fact that they have numbers on.
And even then, I don't even think the numbers matter. As long as you've got the front cover on the front cover, don't worry
That
about
would
the
be
numbers.
important, yes. But these would make really nice cushion centres, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If you didn't want to make a book. I mean, it's lovely to make a book. This is a brilliant present for somebody. Totally unique. You know, no one else is going to have one of these,
No.
are they?
I think it's a nice book to have if you know, with
The
see,
book
it's got
panel
some-
is about to sell out.
Oh, well, I've run out of thread now.
Right.
Underneath me, no.
While you look for some more thread, we're just going to have a look at the other panel, which is, I really like this panel. So this one is in the bundle with all the pet shop, but you can also buy it on its own. So if you want to buy all the fabrics, you can buy the panel with all the fabrics, or you can buy it on its own. So it's a pet shop. It's quite long, actually. Well, it's the whole length of the fabric, which is your normal 44-inch width, 120, 112. So really, you could use it for the centre of a quilt, and you could use the other fabrics around the side of it to use as, you know, you could do like half square triangles or just strips of fabric or whatever. You could use it as a wall hanging and then make it bigger with other of the prints. Oh, the dog, this one. Oh, Karen says it looks like a wired-haired Dachshund. Oh. Yeah, yes. Also like a wired-haired sausage dog. See, I'm not brilliant at all. I've got a dog. Actually, it's my dog on here. I've got a cocker spaniel. Mine isn't on there. Yeah, but that actually, no, that's a King Charles spaniel. That looks a bit more like one. So it's just, I love this one because it's got snakes at the top, like the reptile shop. It's got a parrot up there. You've got the big cats and the hedgehog. There's cats in here. I mean, it's just... Yeah, I think the snakes might eat the mice, and then the cats would eat, yeah. And I'm not sure that bird might eat that goldfish. I mean, you could use the panel and cut out the individual pieces, and I thought to start with that that's what they were for, because they've all got these little black lines. I thought that you could cut them out, which I suppose you could, because they've got, but I think that's just part of the design. But if you, because of the great thing about having the bundle is because all of those other half meters of the same prints come in it, then you could make a really stunning quilt. So we have got the half meters available. They are currently on pre-order, but if you go on the website, you can see them all individually. So if you want, should we just look at this one, because the others are just a repeat print, but this is a border print, which I quite like. Again, you get half a metre of this in the bundle, but if you can buy it by the half metre if you want longer. But all of these are just borders, all printed. So you could use... It's cut off the bolts, so the prints will go downwards. So when you buy half a metre, you will get half a metre of a print. So if you want longer than that, you will need to buy it separately and buy it more than a half a metre. What is really nice about it is that you could use these and just sew these across the bottom of a bag. You could just use it, or you could use it like the whole print, but it's very nice for adding to. So with the panel, if you wanted to put a border at the top and the bottom of it, on here you get 1, 2, 3, 4 of the borders. You could sew, should we put it here on the top one? You could sew the border across the top of there, top of the panel, and then you could sew one across the bottom as well, and then you could use some of the other fabrics. So the panel is about to sell out, hasn't just yet, so be very, very quick. But, you know, remember, even if we do sell out, what Delphine is doing, you can use with these fabrics for anything else. You could make a book out of these fabrics anyway, couldn't you? You don't have to have the panel.
And one thing I was just, when you was just talking about the other panel actually, if you don't always have to follow the instructions if you right down to a T, another nice thing to do with it would be if you back just the one, and you could quilt all over the all around each bit.
That would be really nice.
And then sew right sides together, and then you can do a bit of embroidery. So it
Yeah.
could be a really big project, or it could be a really
depending on the
project.
time.
Yeah. So and then just quilting on all these little bits here and all through the animals. You can give them like you say little French knots for the cat's eyes and things, couldn't you?
Okay.
So it could be more of like a sensory.
Yeah,
book,
it could, and
couldn't
I
it?
guess you could use any of the fabrics to make
Yeah.
a book like this, couldn't you? Because
Yeah.
some of the, particularly the border print, you've got lots of different, you could cut various elements
Yeah,
of that.
that
You
would
could use the pet shop print to make a fabric book and use it for quilting. So so have you sewn around all of them
I've
now?
sewn round
right,
all 3
sewn round
pieces.
all of them now.
And now I'm on to the trimming. So I'm going to trim off any excess.
If you want the wadding for the quilt, that's on screen at the moment, $6.99 for half a metre. That's a really good price.
That's really good. Again, we
is
were
good.
saying that before we came on air, didn't we?
And if you've got any problems checking out, we do have a UK call centre, 0800 001 4433. They're really nice there. And you can call them and they'll help you and give you advice. And they're nice people.
I tend to use 80-20 on pretty much everything.
It's
'cause
I
always
like
put
the
my
fact it
cushions
has
as
that
well.
slight grip to it. I don't think it is grip, but it's slightly bumpy, isn't it? So
Yeah.
So when you it does stick to, it does stick almost, doesn't it? It's not an iron on, but because I think it's needled, isn't it?
I think it's very rare that I actually make a cushion or anything without any of that in it. So I think it just gives all of your quilting projects and cushions, make it more luxurious.
It doesn't give it a massive squishy weight that you don't
No.
want, but it just gives it that little bit of body. It's
Like I say,
lovely,
it just
isn't
makes the cushions more sturdy.
Yeah. And at that width,
It's the perfect width, that one, isn't it?
244.
So again, I'll do it like, do this in the way I'm doing it, just sew round one, and then the next, and the next, and then do all the trimming, then do all the turning, then a bit of pressing, and then you put it together.
It's really easy, isn't
It's
it?
a really, I said it could be a really quick, easy project to do with kids, because I think, their attention span, they get a bit bored after a while.
Well, you say you've only got to do 3 of these, haven't
Yeah.
you? But it's nice. It's a nice way to do it that you've cut the wadding a bit bigger, then sew it, and then trim it. It sort of allows for a little bit of inaccuracy
Exactly.
that you can sort out later.
Especially when you're sewing on the telly.
Yeah, especially when you sew. I always like a bit of inaccuracy that you can sort out later. Yeah.
So again, just as you would with a quilt or some cushions, I'm just trimming my corners. So when I turn it around the right way, that it's a nice...
Oh, so you don't just cut, show us that. You don't just cut across once then?
So I don't cut across once because it still gets bulky. So I always cut it twice. So one that way, and then one the
That's
other way.
nice.
And then that way it will give a nice sharp point when you turn it round, but not too close to the stitches.
Because if you just got cut across, I guess you've still got...
it still makes it all bulky, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I find anyway.
No, it's really...
Yeah. So
I like that. I like
Is
that.
that the one that didn't sew?
Top Delphine tip. Write it down.
There we are. So cut across one and then...
No, well, you think how many different things you can use that for.
Exactly. This is a skill, like I say, this is a skill builder as well, isn't it? Because it's not just about making a book. You're making, giving you the basis of like bagging out and doing cushions and. Oh yeah, there's one there.
It's always, I remember someone saying once, how do you put the fabrics right sides together and then the wadding behind it? That doesn't make sense. Because it's sort of, when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. But when you turn out, it does make sense.
Yeah.
You sort of feel like because you're sandwiching the wadding between the front and the back, that it should go between the front and the back.
Yeah.
But it doesn't when you make it.
So it all makes sense eventually.
It all makes
doesn't
sense
it?
eventually.
So this is where you make sure that you've got your gap. Oh, there we are. And then it's really simple. You just turn each one the right way round.
Okay.
And then just give it a little bit of a
Is that a bit easier than your bunny ears?
yeah. So yeah, this is easier than bunny ears, but again, the bunny, they will turn.
They're perfectly achievable.
But you just need to be patient.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to.
Have you got a pokey stick? Actually, I think there's one there, isn't
Oh yeah,
there?
there's one there. So I'll use that one. I know I'm terrible. I sometimes use the end of scissors. So I need
Yeah, I have done that, and every time I do it, I go through the fabric, and I try not to. I have a metal kebab skewer, which is really bent now, but it's perfect.
you're
'cause
really
it's got like a
forcing it.
flat but pointed end. But we actually do a proper turning tool,
You do.
which I really need to
I need
invest in.
I need to invest in one of those and some applique scissors.
And
Definitely.
an embellisher.
And I want the embellisher.
So you need an embellisher,
need
applique
the
scissors.
embellisher,
I
yeah.
did ask John, when we were on Sewn Course, we used to have Derek the Dobber. And and I asked him, have you got Derek the Dobber still? And Derek the Dobber was this, I don't know where it came from, but it was this big wooden stick that was perfect for turning things out. And before we ever sold the Prim turning tool, we used to have
Used
And
to
it
have
was
that.
always kept on the step when you were doing something. John would go, do you need Derek the Dobber? I go, go on then. And I don't think he knew where Derek the Dobber had gone.
So we don't know where it is?
No, but it was really useful. It was a large wooden stick that was perfect for turning out things.
There we are. So what I'll do, I'm going to get the turning tool, not Derek the Dobber, because we haven't got one.
But the print turning tool
The
is
print
really
turning
good.
tool,
And
yeah.
that's another thing, like the last show I did, tools that are only good for one thing, but they do them brilliantly.
But yeah, so I've got a bit of a shopping list at the moment.
Yeah, I'd like one of those, rather than a metal kebab skewer.
Yeah, I'm going to have, yeah, the embellishment machine. I'm definitely going to, that's going to be a Christmas present to myself, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that.
I think everyone has their own little things. I just found this kebab skewer one day and I keep it there now and it's really bent so nobody will pinch it off me.
I think you'd have to bring it in.
The bent kebab
Yeah.
skewer. It's one of those nice big thick ones that you can barely get through anything. Some of them are very thin, aren't they? You can get them through mushrooms and peppers, but this is a really fat one.
There we are. Have we got a needle and thread anywhere? I think I left
Is the one in the pin cushion,
in
in the pin tray?
So all you do is when you've done I'll give these all a bit of a press, but that little gap that we left open, if you try and use a matching coloured thread, and all you do is exactly what we did in the bunny hour, is ladder stitch.
Okay. I suppose you
Ladder
could
stitching
top
thread.
stitch around it.
Or top stitch,
And then-
or you can cheat and use a bit of wonder web. I've never done that before. I have done that before.
But I guess if you top stitch all the way around, then it would sort of
Yeah, that would look nice. It will give it an idea. Like
close it as well.
But if you go in between the lines where that is the green bit of the book, it would
Yes.
look like but you like binding.
Yeah, it
wouldn't
would actually, yes. I guess the problem you've got to make sure it's all matched up.
match up on the other end.
Yeah.
Or if
I
you did
think
it,
I like the idea you said of quilting it beforehand.
Yeah. Oh, I think if I had more time, if I was doing it again, that's what I would do.
Okay. Right, I'm going to go through the fabrics while you're Derek dobbing.
When I'm turning.
So we got through the for the bundle. You get the border print. You get the panel that has the pet shop on it. You then get 1/2 metre of all of these prints. You get this lovely bright sort of, it's called Argyle check. I was going to say it looks like Argyle, but it's like turquoise and lime and turquoise. And inside every check, get a little face, a little fish face and a mouse face and a parrot face and a dog face and a turtle face and a hamster face. So perfect. This one is absolutely perfect for fussy cutting. If you were doing EPP, you could have one of these little faces in the middle of each of your hexagon. You know, buy 1/2 metre of this and just keep it for just the little faces. I'd like that. But you could, you know, use it for things, make a really nice bag for children or a laptop case or a bag for Hannah even. Shall I open out the Argyle? Oh no, look at the detail on it. They are beautifully illustrated. And the print is so fine, such good quality, you can really see them. But you can imagine those as little squares, can't you? Really sweet. We haven't ever worked out what the animal lying in the hammock was that we think might be a ferret. I don't know. I'm just not sure I know ferrets well enough. I don't think I've ever met a ferret. Then we have this one that's like a black and white print with all the animals. Some of them are in colour, some of them in black and white. Now, this print here, that's also in the bundle, and you can also buy by the 1/2 metre, that is, let me put them side by side, that's the same print, but that one's just in red. But what's nice about, if I pull that one aside, is that you can see what all the prints are here because they're all coloured in, but it's just subtly in red. But isn't that lovely? So if you were making the pet shop, if you bought the bundle and you had the pet shop panel and you wanted to add the other fabrics, everything in here goes together, not just only in print but in colourway, because there's just one colour palette used. So this other fabric, this red one that is here, uses the same red that's in all of this. So the stone one is this one. Which one's the stone one? This one, sorry. So this one is called Critter on Stone because the background, if you look really closely, it's white, but it's got a very pale beige, lots of little spots and squirrels, which gives it a stone. Then the red one, which is the same print, but it's in red, is called just Critters on Red. Tonal small critter on red. So this is if you want to buy it not in the bundle, but buy the ½ metre. Then the next one is this dog's one that's on the red, I love this one. I love this one. And what I love is that you've got some of them like, look at those two. That one says family, and it's like a big golden retriever and a little, I don't know whether it's a rabbit. Could be a rabbit. And that one, that's the white-haired dachshund with the ferret on his back. Obviously. All sorts. Love that one. So that one is called Dogs on Red. Now we also do exactly the same fabric, but it's like on a turquoise. So this one is called Pets on Blue. Dogs on Teal. It's not called Pets on Blue. Dogs on Teal, which it's not teal. Just saying, this is definitely turquoise. More like cyan. It's a very bright. It's not like you think of as a soft teal. It's a very bright turquoise. But it's lovely. It's got a check background, which is really pretty. It's got big checks, little checks, even smaller checks, and then lots of words. But perfect for applique. If you put some bondeweb on the back, because they've got little black lines around them as well, which is part of the design, you could cut around them easily with the same allowance. But that's a really good one for your stash, isn't it? Just for little pieces of applique, but also just to make into something. Use for the lining. Make your dog bag, dog coat lining. Right, next I'm going to do this white one that's got all the words on it, although it's probably called Stone because it's the same colour background as the other one. Words on Stone. It takes so little to be kind to an animal. Pets are the family you get to choose. Yeah, that's right. A house without a pet is like a garden without the flowers. I was on this conversation with my husband the other day about, we were watching this TV programme and I was saying, how could they have fallen in love so quickly, this couple? They'd like fall in love within like 5 minutes. And he said, well, how long did it take you to fall in love with that puppy? I went, it's different.
I thought you were going to say, how long did it take you to fall in love with me?
I said, we won't even go there. I said, it's different with the dog. When it's a puppy, you fall in love with immediately. Whereas as a person, you've got a lot of things to consider.
Lots of things, yeah.
He didn't even ask me about where he came into that equation. Silly. Sorry, it's little sidetrack on loving dogs. Words on Stone. And then this one. So it's got loads of lovely little slogans. I love the dog more than anyone else in my family. It doesn't say that. But it should do, shouldn't it? And this is Words on Navy. You can't buy love, but you can rescue it. They're really lovely. You can't change an animal's past. It's a lot about adoption, actually. There's a lot about having... Yeah, there's loads and loads of people who rehome, and a lot of these is about that. You can't change an animal's past, but you can rewrite their future. Really lovely for, gift for anyone who's got a dog or any pet, because this covers all pets. And obviously we all adore our pets. Well, I do. Then why wouldn't you want something for them? And, there is a lot in this about rehoming cats and dogs and any animals. So these final two, they are called paw prints, but they aren't just paw prints because there are bird prints, and I don't think birds have got paws. I think they have feet and claws. But you've got dog paws and cat paws, and those are definitely hedgehog paws because they're like 5 fingers. And then you've got birds. So these are all the paws, and the background of that one is stone. But, make a dog bed or a cat bed. An animal bed would look lovely in these, wouldn't they? And then that one, or if you wanted to, you do, that's lovely. A cover for your budgie cage. Did you used to have a budgie? Do people still have budgies? I don't see many people with budgies,
Never.
do you? You do have to put a cover over. That's why you put bags over chickens, don't you? Because when animals are in the dark, they calm down. This one is called Hearts on Green. Yeah, so this fabric range, I now worked this out, it's called Rescued and Loved, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked that out right. Should have known that
like
right
that
at the
for like
beginning.
the neckerchiefs.
Yes,
the dogs.
oh, that would look lovely.
Yeah.
Are they called neck? Yeah, those.
I don't know, the little bandana
Yes,
things.
the band that
but
go
round the
round
neck.
them. Oh,
Yeah.
that would be really
Yeah,
nice,
that would
wouldn't
look
it?
cute.
There's so many things you can do with that. Okay, so we've gone through all the fabrics, and you've turned those all inside out.
Turn them all inside out. I've given them all a good press and pretend
Okay.
I've actually sewed all the bottoms as well.
Right, so the book
All of
panel
that
is
in the
now
last 5
sold
minutes.
out, but for those of you who have bought it, we are still going to continue.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And
So
we'll put the wadding on for you to buy.
the you'll lay to start off with, because like I said, the book cover is actually slightly bigger than the rest. So obviously, when you put it together, you don't have all the other little pages sticking out. So you're going to lay the book cover down on with pages 1 to 10 facing up, and then you would lay 2 and 6 and 3 and 8. This is all your instructions of how you pair them up, and just line them up so they're in the middle. There we are. And then you'll have 5 and 6, which has 4 and 7 on the back. Now, to check that you've got it all in the right order, just fold it up like a book. So yeah, I'm happy
Okay.
with that. That's
Yeah.
the front cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So I'm happy that they're all in the correct order in the right way round. So what I'm going to do now is line them up in the centre, and all you're going to do is sandwich. This is where a walking foot definitely comes in handy, but again, if you don't have one, don't worry about it.
Will it go through if you don't have one?
Yeah, because the wadding's quite thin, so it will still
True.
go through. And then you're going to sew all the way down that centre line. So I'm going to go and do that now. Make sure you do a locking stitch or back stitch. Now I've
Okay.
actually got enough thread. I've got enough thread, and I've
You've got enough
and I've
thread
got bobbin.
in the bobbin and on the
I'm
top.
good to go. Yeah.
Perfect.
And let's get a back stitch there. And straight line. All the way down to the bottom. Little back stitch. And you take it away. Just get me scissors and I'll just trim it here. And there we are. I'm just going to give it a quick trim. And those bits there. And
And that's
you're done.
it.
That's it. You're done.
That is
There we
magic.
are. Easy. So there you go. You give it a bit of a press. I do go a bit crazy with the iron. And there you are. There's your book. All ready. It's sturdy. You can pull it. It's not going to fall apart or anything like that. And there you are.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much
No
for that.
problem.
It's just really lovely to have a project like this that is very doable and
Yeah.
achievable. And often we sort of sell the panels and then don't go through the detail of how to do it.
How to put it all together.
But that great skill. So if you want to make your own book from other fabrics or put a plique on something, that's how to do it.
That's how you do it. Easy.
Thank you very much. When are you back with us, Delphine?
Tomorrow morning.
Oh, tomorrow,
I'm back
of course.
tomorrow. Yes.
Is it Tiger?
I've got Tasha
Tiger
the Tiger,
Tuesday?
Tiger Tuesday, and I've also got Needle felting as well. Yeah, so very arty day tomorrow.
Fab. Well, remember, it's 5 hours of Sewing Street tomorrow.
It is.
It is. From now on, we are 5 hours.
Yeah, and
Whether
Yarn
it's-
Lane, exciting.
Yeah, whether it's yarn lane or sewing. So, Henry Glass fabric bundle, which is this one that I am busily folding up. It has a 1/2 metre of all of the fabrics I've shown you in it, except for the book panel that Delphine was making, but it has got all of the other fabrics in. So it's got the pet shop panel. I'll just turn it over. It's got the border print panel, which is not really a panel, but the border print fabric. And then it has all of the other fabrics that I've been showing you throughout this hour. So that's in the bundle, which is £83.99. So you've got 4.5 metres in total of all of these fabric. But you can buy all of these. So I was distracted. You buy all of these by the 1/2 metre as well if you want to. So normally we'd be finishing and I'd be going to get myself a sandwich now, but far too exciting. We've obviously got Yarn Lane coming up. Same channel, do not turn over, do not go anywhere. But I just want to tell you first what's coming up on Sewing Street tomorrow, because normally that's how we end. So 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we have must-have sewing gadgets. Love that. Delphine's back at 9 o'clock with 2D needle felting. At 10 o'clock, we've got fabulous fabric, so a whole hour of fabric. Just get your stash built up because you need to. 11 o'clock, Tiger Tuesday, tiger wall hanging with Delphine again. Now, if any of you follow either Delphine or Sewing Street on Instagram or Facebook, you will have already seen pictures of that, and it is absolutely stunning. She's made it with some K fabric. I love it. And then at 12 o'clock, we've got the Elna Overlocker books and patterns. But don't go anywhere, because from today, we are now on air 5 hours a day. So we have got coming up in just a few minutes' time, we have got Yarn Lane. Now, Alison Marion has made us this cake. Come on, I need to see this close. Actually, I'm gonna tip. You need to see it. Look, it's a bobble hat, a knitted bobble hat. It's even got cable in it, and it says "Good Luck Yarn Lane." So don't go anywhere, because make a cup of tea, have a look. You know that you are now going to learn the first time we have ever taught you how to crochet on Yarn Lane. This is the first ever show, and this is just a taste of what's to come. We are going to educate you. We are going to inspire you. We're going to bring you some fantastic projects, and not only that, it's going to be fun because I love crochet, and you're going to love Helen, and she's going to be with us in just a couple of minutes. So I might cut this and have a piece of cake then. So I'll see you soon. We are so excited for the